TCU safety Sam Carter won National Player of the Week honors against SMU. Kansas middle linebacker Ben Heaney leads the Big 12 in tackles. Those stars are on display today in Fort Worth, where passionate fans are ready to pack newly rebuilt Amon G. Carter Stadium on Fox College Football. Texas, as TCU takes the field, hosting the Kansas Jayhawks. It's the first time these two teams have played here in Fort Worth in 17 years. It's Fox College Football at Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas. Today, the Kansas Jayhawks battle the TCU Horned Frogs. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Followell. The storyline is pretty simple for both of these teams today. They've yet to taste victory in the Big 12. Someone's going to walk out of here today with their first Big 12 conference win and get their season pointed, hopefully, in the right direction. My partner in the booth is analyst Brian Baldinger. First, let's talk about TCU. Just like every year under Gary Patterson, the defense is very, very solid. Offense, they are trying to improve things, and I think it starts with quarterback Trevon Boykin.
It has to. I mean, this is Trevon Boykin's 13th start at quarterback for TCU, and he's no longer inexperienced or young or any of that. Now, he leads the team in rushing, but this is a team that has gotten off to bad starts here, and they need Trevon Boykin to play quarterback, to distribute the ball to a lot of wide receivers early in this game to get this offense jump-started.
Kansas comes into the game with a record of 2-2 this year. When you look at the Jayhawks, Baldy, and we want to talk with J.C. Pearson, our sideline analyst, about this as well, but what are your concerns for the Jayhawks going into today's game?
Well, they're starting their fifth offensive line combination in 5 games right now. Gavin Howard in at center for the first time of his career, and really, they've got to play better up front, and they've got to play better together up front, JC, if this Kansas offense can execute today.
Yeah, they really do, Baldy, because they want to go back to doing what they did best last year, and that's running the football. James Sims led the entire Big 12 in rushing last year. He's a strong, tough runner, and I hope he got a lot of rest last night because they're going to work him today. They say they're going to hand him the ball 25 to 30 times. So in large part, how well this Kansas offense does today is going to depend on how well James Sims is able to run the ball.
Well, JC, if James Sims reaches that 30, that will equal his career high, which he had in a game against Texas Tech last season. They're taking the field here in Fort Worth, Texas. We're in Cowtown for TCU and Kansas. It kicks off on Fox College Football coming up next. Fox College Football is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price, every day. And by Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck for 36 straight years. They are used to these morning kickoffs. It's the third time for an 11 a.m. kickoff here in Fort Worth. Mark Followell, Brian Baldinger, J.C. Pearson on an 81-degree cloudy day here at Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas. This is the 30th all-time meeting between the Kansas Jayhawks and the TCU Horned Frogs. TCU leads the series 17 wins to 8 losses, 4 ties. Their first meeting was in 1942. This is their second time to meet as Big 12 conference foes last year. In the second game of the season, in TCU's first Big 12 game, they won 20-6 in Lawrence. And here we go with Jayden Overchrome kicking off for TCU. They won the toss. They're deferring their option until the second half. Kansas will field in the end zone. It's a touchback. And so with that, we look at our Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff players to watch for Kansas's offense and TCU's defense, Baldy.
Well, I think Brandon Bourbon is a guy that's going to get a start at wide receiver, but we'll see him all over the field, in the backfield, on sweeps. Gavin Howard makes his first start at center. They're trying to solidify the offensive line. And Terrell Lathan is replacing a couple defensive ends. Devontae Fields and Matt Anderson out today, and Jason Brett is everybody's favorite cover corner in this conference. 31 passes defensed in the last 2 years.
Kansas starts the game after the touchback on their own 25. They sent Bourbon in motion, and the game plan today, as J.C. Pearson noted at the top, is to run the ball and run it a lot. And the first play is off the left side, James Sims for 3 yards. Paul Dawson has moved in and started at middle linebacker for TCU and makes the tackle. Jake Heaps, the quarterback for Kansas, is a transfer from BYU. Those are his career numbers between 2 years with BYU and 1 season at Kansas.
Charlie, of course, recruited Jake Heaps at Notre Dame. Ended up going to BYU. Didn't work out there. Transferred back, sat out last year, and is a starter this year.
And once again, it's James Sims. This is a homecoming for him. He's from down the road in Irving, Texas, went to MacArthur High School, and his second carry of the game. That's a 4 to 5 yard pickup, putting them in 3rd down and short.
Yeah, now look, Charlie said, to us on Thursday that he'd love to run the ball twice as much as he'd like to throw it today. But when it's 3rd and 2, do you have the confidence in a shook-up offensive line to hand it to James Sims one more play?
We'll see if they do it. With 2 receivers to the right, 1 left. They are without Tony Pearson, their leading receiver, who was hurt last week against Texas Tech. They do have the confidence to run the ball behind that offensive line, and successfully on 3rd and 2, Sims slams up forward for 7 yards.
Well, they have had 4 different centers this year going back to the spring. Now, this is a pretty good job up front. Gavin Howard in at center. Smithberg at right guard right now. Pretty good job pushing all the way back to the tight end, Mundy. And so a good push and good cut by James Sims.
Officially 6, so he's run for 14 yards. And now Heaps dropped back to the delay handoff and straight ahead again to Sims. Marcus Mallett at linebacker with a tackle on the 2-yard pickup out beyond the Kansas 40.
And James Sims is a guy that really he's run the ball well, but he just hasn't had that many carries. He's only had 64 carries in the first 4 games. That's 16 a game by my math.
Very good. Nicely done.
Yeah. And long division. But they'd love to get him up to, like JC said, 25 or 30 times today.
20 is his high in a game this year. He's already at number 5, but this one is a struggle for yardage. Only a pickup of 1, leaving them in 3rd and 7, JC.
Yeah, and guys, remember Gary Patterson, when we talked to him yesterday, told us that defensively they weren't going to come out and be aggressive from the start. They were going to try to see what Kansas was going to try to do offensively, because every week they've had a different offensive game plan. Today, obviously, it's to pound the run, and now you start to see those TCU safeties start to creep up. Now, obviously, it's a passing situation here, but in rundowns, watch those safeties creep down to the line of scrimmage.
Kansas this year, 33% on 3rd down, and a fumbled handoff. Jake Heaps appears to be back on the ball, but the play is blown up on the fumble. They lose yardage and never get a chance to do anything, Baldy.
And when you're on your 4th center, those are the kind of things, as a coach, you never get comfortable with. Now, they had a lot of that's a good snap. I mean, that was just basically, James Sims didn't think he was getting the ball. And now, whether that was a fake there, that was a good snap. Just really a muffed play between Sims and Heaps on that play.
Trevor Pardula, as you saw, is 2nd in the nation, averaging 47.5 yards a kick. Cameron Eccles-Looper is waiting to return. And a good boot by Pardula, a junior college transfer. Eccles-Looper had a seam up the gut, fielding at the 10, returns for 12 yards. Josh Ford tackled. Let's look at the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff players to watch for the TCU offense and the Kansas defense.
Well, B.J. Catalon is a guy that is a catalyst for this offense, either at running back or as a punt returner. Wayman James, I mean, this is a powerful man. I mean, in the history of TCU football, he has the highest per average per run that there is. And Ben Heaney for Kansas had led the Big 12 in tackles a year ago. Off to a good start this year. And Victor Simmons is a guy that's all over the field for the Kansas defense.
Trevon Boykin, 2nd season at TCU. He's from Mesquite, played his high school ball for the West Mesquite Wranglers, and had just gaudy numbers as a senior in high school. Starting for the 21, and an interception that went through the hands of the intended receiver, and a pickoff by Isaiah Johnson at the TCU 25.
Went right through the hands of Dexter Linton. And you get an easy interception here by Isaiah Johnson. And look, they went spread formation right here. Just going to get a quick stop right now. There's Linton. He's going to get his hands on the ball. He's going to read this all the way. He comes up, gets the hit, and Isaiah Johnson is the benefactor right now.
Yeah, Wayman James had a chance to catch it. But through the hands of Wayman James and Trevon Boykin, you see his reaction after his 4th interception of the season. 4th interception, but one that he'll look back at as not being on him.
It's not on him. The ball came out hot. They obviously wanted to come out and establish the passing game first before.
Handoff Sims. Sims was hit at the line by Paul Dawson, able to fight forward for a gain of 3. TCU has been good about protecting the ball this year. They came into the game +7 in turnover margin. That'll drop to a +6. It's the 8th turnover force this year by the KU defense.
And really the same things that have crept up in this TCU offense hamstrung them again. I mean, they didn't have a first down against Oklahoma last week until halfway through the third quarter.
A game they ultimately lost 20-17. TCU has also stumbled this year against LSU and Texas Tech. An inside handoff as we see Nick Sizemore carry for the first time and force it down to the 19 of TCU.
Let's watch the right guard here. He started every game right now. It's a junior college transfer, Smithburg. I mean, he just completely oversteps right there on the defensive tackle. And that kind of penetration has been killing this run game of Kansas. They're not playing well together. It's not about individuals. It's when you step that wide, is the center stepping with you? And he's not. And so they're not in sync up front. That was an example.
The run offense is 90th in the nation at 137 yards a game. Heaps to throw. Rolling. This will be the first pass of the game. There's a flag down. It's an incompletion in the end zone for Trey Parmalee. And again, a marker is down on the play. Cooper Castleberry.
Number 61 of the offense. Penalties decline. Fourth down.
Lewandowski from Overland Park, Kansas, starting at left tackle for the first time today.
Well, here's Lewandowski, and he's going to get beat inside, and his only option right here is to reach out and grab him with the right hand. And so that's Lathan who's getting the start today because of injuries up front to Devontae Fields and Anderson. But he went from center the last 2 weeks to left tackle. There's no way that he's had enough reps out there to really feel comfortable with that kind of an inside move.
This is a 37-yard field goal attempt. It's Matthew Wyman who gets Kansas on the board first, connecting on his 5th field goal in 7 attempts this year. Kansas scores points off the turnover. An interception through the hands of Wayman James, picked by Isaiah Johnson. The Jayhawks turned it into the first 3 points of the game.
Join Aaron and the guys as they preview all the games and all the action from around the country. The Ford Fox College Football pregame show, Saturdays on Fox Sports 1. Fox Sports 1 is now available everywhere. To find it, go to foxsports1.com.
That's sophomore Isaiah Johnson, number 5, with his 2nd interception of the season, setting up the field goal that puts Kansas on top 5 minutes in. Fox College Saturday continues with a huge Pac-12 showdown between 2nd-ranked Oregon and 16th-ranked Washington, followed up by Conference USA, Tulsa, and UTEP on Fox Sports 1. Fox Sports, your home for college football all season.
And I'm waiting to see when Oregon starts to miss Chip Kelly. You know?
Not yet.
Mark Helfrich is doing an unbelievable job there, holding it together. Marcus Mariota putting up points in record numbers out there at Outson Stadium in YouTube.
B.J. Catalan returned a kickoff for a touchdown earlier this season against LSU. One of the 3 games that TCU lost this year by a combined 23 points in the 3 losses. A high kick by Trevor Pardula. Catalan at the 6. Catalan with room to run, and then he'll be pushed out of bounds out past the 35 by Prince Candy. Right now, we need to check in with Laura McKeeman. She's got a Fox College football game break. Laura.
All right, well, hey there, Mark. We got some ACC action for you. Pittsburgh at number 24, Virginia Tech. And Calvin Klein with a 27-yard touchdown reception from Logan Thomas to put Virginia Tech up 7-0 in the first over Pitt.
We'll be tracking that among many other games throughout the course of this late morning and then on into the early afternoon with 9:54 left of the first. Kansas leads 3-0.
Including a pretty big rivalry right down the road, the Red River rivalry.
A handoff after Wayman James had a pass go through his hands and was intercepted last time. Wayman James carries the ball, and Kiba Augustino, a senior from one of your favorite towns in Texas, Katy, just outside of Houston. Augustino on the tackle.
One of the real powerhouses in Texas high school football, Katy, Texas, of course. They had a quarterback here from Katy High School that was pretty good, doing a pretty good job with the Cincinnati Bengals right now. Andy Dalton.
A 4-receiver set. Ladarius Brown, David Porter are split to the near side. Boykin Throwing over the middle, finds David Porter in Kansas territory. He spins down near the 40 of the Jayhawks and will gain 22 on the play. Johnson, who had the interception a moment ago, slings him down.
Yeah, and Porter just running a deep in cut. And Boykin with good play action, holding the linebackers, and threw it right over.
This is what they say they wanted to do today on offense. Jared Anderson, one of their co-offensive coordinators, told us yesterday they want to get a sense of urgency on offense, force the issue by playing more up-tempo. They snap for the Kansas 41. Boykin to throw again. This time he finds Ladarius Brown from Waxahachie to the Kansas 34 on a pitch and catch of 7.
Yeah, the two offensive coordinators, Jared Anderson and Rusty Burns. Burns works with the quarterbacks. Anderson, the coordinator, do it in tandem upstairs right now. That's new for TCU, putting them both upstairs this week.
TCU averages 63 snaps per game on offense. Jared Anderson told us they'd like to be up around 75 to 80.
Well, they found the urgency they're talking about is they played their best offense when they were behind, and they had to play catch-up, like they did last week against Oklahoma.
And here's an inside handoff, big room for B.J. Catalon, cutting to the sideline 20. And pushed out of bounds by Isaiah Johnson at the 10.
Well, in order to have that kind of room to run, you got to block Ben Heaney, their middle linebacker. Here's Heaney. So how they get to him right here, he plays backdoor. He's playing the option on that play, and that's what opened up the middle that time for Catalon.
Catalon bumped out of bounds by Johnson. Johnson is second to Heaney on the Kansas defense in tackles. Now first and goal for TCU. TCU and Kansas have each scored 10 points in the first quarter this season coming into play today. The Jayhawks already have 3, courtesy of the TCU turnover. Midway through the first. At the 9 on first and goal, down goes Catalon. There's Ben Heaney. Got blocked last time, but not then.
Well, he took himself out of the play last time, and really, that's an example of them trying to defend Boykin more than Catalon. I mean, he went with Boykin, who was running that zone read option that everybody runs some version of right now in college football. And he went out taking the quarterback, and that was a good read by Boykin.
The longest rushing play this year for TCU is 30 yards. Catalon came close to that a moment ago with that 25-yard gallop, but then lost a yard. Now second and goal. Big handoff. Open field to the left, and Boykin will walk it in from 10 yards out for the touchdown.
That's his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. Right now, Kansas doesn't know what to do to stop this option. I mean, you jump outside to take Boykin, and they hand it off to Catalon. Now they tackle the pitch or the dive, and Boykin walks in outside. They're a man short on 2 big running plays on that drive.
Javon Boykin's 3rd rushing touchdown. Jayden Overcrone, sophomore from Arlington Martin High School here in the DFW Metroplex. 18 of 18 this year on extra points. They blare the foghorn that is, after Javon Boykin scores from 10 yards out. TCU up 7-3. Javon Boykin saw the first TCU drive end quickly after an interception on the first play, but a very nicely executed 6-play march down the field, Baldy.
Probably the first time Boykin hasn't been on a phone that's not a cell phone. But it got started early here. The pass over the middle to David Porter, wide open in the middle of the field. And then right here, he hands it off to B.J. Catalon. He goes crazy up the middle. And then here, they play the dive this time, and Boykin runs around the end. So 6 plays, 63 yards. One of those drives that TCU has been waiting to deliver in the first quarter all season long.
They're at 17 points now in the first quarter, scoring-wise this year. JC, what'd you see on that drive?
Yeah, you know, the tempo is one thing, and actually it wasn't as fast as I thought they were going to go. Maybe that turnover in that first series slowed them down a bit, but expect them to continue to attack the edges. Expect Javon Boykin to keep the ball more on those reads. Remember, they told us that's where they thought they had the advantage, is getting to the edges and attacking the edge. They worked that time, so expect them to come back to it.
Both of these teams, TCU and Kansas, were in the bottom 5 in FBS in first quarter scoring coming into today. With the Jayhawks a field goal, TCU responds with a touchdown. Corey Shepard wants to take this out, and he's hit hard at the 15, stood up and driven backwards. They will spot him on the return officially between the 19 and the 20 as we go back to Laura McKeeman for another Fox College football game break. Laura.
All right, elsewhere in the Big 12, we'll take a look at Iowa State at number 20, Texas Tech. And here's Davis Webb buying some time. Jakeem Grant with a 32-yard touchdown reception for an early 7-0 lead for the Raiders. But Iowa State just returned the kickoff for a touchdown. So this one's heating up there with Iowa State and Texas.
Texas Tech went 3 unbeaten teams atop the Big 12. Tony Pearson, big gun for Kansas, 21 catches this year. He's out with an injury suffered against those Red Raiders last week.
Concussion.
Jay Keeps will throw it, and Sims will catch it, but slips upon receiving the pass at the line of scrimmage.
Well, you can see that the game plan is get the ball to Sims, whether it's handing off to him right now or running a flat route to him. And that last throw by Heaps, you know, it needs to be thrown in a better location so that Sims can stay on his feet and do something with it after the catch.
TCU 9 yards per play. Kansas only 1.8. Their offense sputtering along. Heaps completed a pass a moment ago. This is an incompletion and dangerously close to an interception as the ball caroms off Josh Ford. Jason Verrett on coverage.
Well, here's Verrett. I mean, this is his specialty now. Man-to-man coverage against Ford, who's taller than him. Look, all he does is look at the belt buckle. Now he mans him up. The ball is thrown behind Ford, and so Verrett's probably upset with himself that he didn't go get the pick, and he just played the man on that play. So that ball was not well thrown by Heaps.
It's the 10th pass breakup this year for Verrett, which is second in the country. Now Kansas looks at third down and long. Heaps over the middle, almost intercepted again. Elisha Olabode was there.
Well, that's really all 3 passes by Heaps were late and behind his receivers on that series.
That receiver was Andrew Terzilli.
Yeah, I mean, the protection's great. I mean, he's got a nice, clean pocket. It's unobstructed. But his ball is behind his receiver, Terzilli, who's making his first start today. And so the timing with these receivers right now just isn't sharp.
Trevor Pardula will punt. He's from San Jose, California. JUCO transfer. Bit of a rush. Pardula has helped improve special teams for Kansas this year. And the play is dead. Eccles Looper catches at the 39-yard line of TCU. Trevon Boykin has the day's only touchdown, running it in from 10 yards out on TCU's second drive. 5:51 left in the first quarter. In the first quarter in Fort Worth, TCU leads Kansas 7-3. Both of these teams are searching for their first Big 12 victory. At the other end of the spectrum, at the top of the conference, Brian, Baylor, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma, all undefeated overall, the most undefeated teams by any conference in the nation. The Big 12 continuing to be a primarily passing league, second most passing yards per game in the nation.
And, of course, TCU has seen 2 of those teams, along with LSU. They've played 3 teams, 3 losses.
Now look at this, Brian. 70 Big 12 touchdown drives this season, covering 50-plus yards in 2 minutes or less.
Of course, Baylor has 25 of those 70 drives in under 2 minutes. So teams are scoring quickly because they play quickly.
And TCU trying to play more quickly themselves today. As noted earlier, they're averaging 63 snaps on offense per game. Their goal today, in a perfect world, be up in the 75 to 80 range. A trips set to the right. Ladarius Brown was the only receiver left. And a throw and catch by Ty Slanina, the true freshman from East Bernard, who had a TCU high 6 receptions at Oklahoma last week.
Yeah, I mean, he was the one bright spot at the wide receiver position in that loss to Oklahoma.
Boykin to Slanina for 6, the 12th reception this year for Ty Slanina. Boykin ran it in for TCU's touchdown. Kansas's score was Matthew Wyman, connecting on a 37-yard field goal that was set up by Isaiah Johnson's interception at the TCU 25. Just got to look at Ben Haney, number 31 for Kansas, their middle linebacker, the leading tackler in the Big 12. Boykin goes down, ran it, and lost yardage.
Well, this is one of those plays where they actually start moving before the snap. The quarterback in the back, they actually want to kind of pitch this ball, but the quarterback kind of gets a little head start as he's moving to his right. Watch, he's going to start moving to his right here and catch the snap on the move. they kind of get it on the run here, get a little bit of a head start, a little Canadian Football League in there as you start moving actually before the snap. I thought Kansas did a good job of really D'ing that one up.
Ben Goodman and number 97, Ty McKinney from just down the road in Weatherford make the tackle. Here's a throw down the seam on TCU's first third down attempt in the game. And an incompletion for Slanina.
Oh, he has Slanina too on the skinny post. And he just overshot him. I mean, here he is. I mean, he's just going to run just right down the seam here. I mean, it's there. It's in front of the corner, in front of the safety there. And he's just a little bit off. But those are the type of plays that you got to make if you're going to jump up and play some of those teams that we just talked about, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, LSU. If you want to play with them, you got to make those throws at quarterback.
Ethan Perry punting for the first time. Connor Embry will see this go past him and bounce out of bounds. Kansas will start. They'll mark it off at the 18. Didn't know it went out of bounds that far upfield. Gary Patterson doesn't like it. It will improve Kansas's field position. We'll see if there's going to be another steady diet of James Sims, who's already run the ball 6 times in the game, as Kansas trails at Fort Worth by 4. Thank you very much, Laura. We're here in Fort Worth. Apparently, we've got a new member that has joined our stat crew today. He's not working with us in the booth, but he's keeping an excellent play-by-play down on the field of each play so far, and leads us to Kansas first and 10 at their own 18-yard line.
You know, I like the manual way of doing things. I don't need the electronics. Give me a pen and a piece of tape, and I'll keep track.
I can vouch for this. Baldy does not have a smartphone. He still has a flip phone. Inside handoff here. James Sims, his 7th carry of the day, and gains 2, JC.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Baldy, kind of old school. Not the technology, not really up on it, but watching this game down here on the field, watch the defensive line of TCU. Those guys are really dominating the line of scrimmage so far. Those 3 down linemen are controlling the offensive line. Not a lot of room to run inside for James Sims.
So you guys are talking old school. And Sims will run here and is up into the 25, but dives out near the first down marker. Gary Patterson said something kind of old school to us yesterday, and that is he still believes, talking about what JC said about the D-line, that winning football on the defensive side comes down to stopping the run. It doesn't have to be a run play. It can be a run after a pass reception, but you still got to be physical and tackle in the running game.
Well, Gary Patterson, if you wanted to make the comparison to technology, he's a flip phone guy. I mean, he goes back to just the basics, okay?
Right.
And so Terrell Lathon right there at the right defensive end spot getting a start today, in large part because of how well he played in last week's game at Oklahoma.
John Kuntz, Chucky Hunter, Davion Pearson, the rest of that line, and they get penetration on the first down handoff on the 28. And that was linebacker Paul Dawson knifing through and cutting down James Sims for a loss of 4.
Well, Paul Dawson is this new middle linebacker kid. He got the start in front of Jonathan Anderson, and that's, look, these are the plays that kill you. That penetration right now, and that's part of the offensive line of Kansas here. It's one thing to go on the chalkboard and go, okay, you got Chucky Hunter and you've got Davion Pearson, you got all these, but what happens when the middle linebacker comes right through your gap?
Paul Dawson from Skyline High School in Dallas made that play coming through the gap. On 2nd and long, a short run for a yard. Davion Pearson brings down Sims, JC.
Yeah, and going back to that last play, I mean, the left guard, Baldy, Husa Malohi, just completely whiffed on the block. And remember, they told us they thought this game was going to be easier because TCU doesn't do a lot up front. They just line up and play football. But it seems like any kind of little stunt, any kind of twist, any kind of little game confuses that offensive line. So if I'm TCU, I'm going to do a lot more of that.
And now Kansas faces the dreaded 3rd and long. They need 12. Heaps goes down. Sack inside his own 20. John Kuntz among the TCU D linemen to get there. His 2nd sack of the season.
Well, it was just a straight 4-man rush. All right, so here comes Kuntz off the edge right here, but really it's 4-man rush right now. Kansas is sliding it. They actually have the back end to help. So 6-man protection against a 4-man rush. And really, that collapsed pretty quickly on Jake Heaps.
Terrell Lathan was also there. Kuntz and Lathan split the 19th sack of the year for TCU, tied for the 2nd most in FBS now. Pardula punting. With under a minute and a half now left of the first quarter. A fair catch is made by TCU at the 30 by Cameron Eccles Looper. Crowd Goes Wild is the new weekday talk show with Regis Philbin and a cast of former athletes and journalists where you could always expect the unexpected. Catch Crowd Goes Wild weekdays at 5 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. There's Gary Patterson-Baldy, 53 years old from Larned, Kansas, in his 13th year at TCU. 118 wins. Seventh most among active coaches. Got the fourth best winning percentage amongst active coaches. From the 31, TCU. Buck 28 left in the first quarter. Inside handoff, we'll see Aaron Green carry the rock for the first time and advance it up to the 37 for a gain of 6.
I think the threat of Trevon Boykin today, with his ability to run the ball, has got Kansas way off whack right now. And that was right up the middle for 7 yards. Pretty easy.
Green is a transfer from Nebraska. Played for a year there from San Antonio. And officially the gain, as Baldy noted, was 7. Boykin will keep on second and short. Broke out of the tackle. Has the first down and more. Nice cutback at midfield. Boykin headed to the sideline where he's brought down at the Kansas 38 by Dexter McDonald.
And look, Mark, they had the defense for it. I mean, Heaney was right there and missed the tackle at the line of scrimmage.
Probably don't say that very often, that Ben Heaney misses a tackle.
Here he is. I mean, that's his gap right now. Now, he misses this tackle, but you make that tackle at the line of scrimmage and squeeze it, you don't get this big game.
The gain was 25. That's 2 25-yard runs today for TCU. As noted earlier, their longest run of the season is 30. Aaron Green running wide for the Kansas 37. Forced down on that run to the wide side of the field by Ben Heaney and also Dexter Linden.
Well, that was a good play. I mean, they just strung that out, and they just flattened Green to the sideline. Heaney used his speed. That's his strength, is that he is a sideline-to-sideline player.
TCU got their wish today. They're playing at a higher tempo, and they're off to a better start. They survive an early interception, and they score on a touchdown run by Trevon Boykin. It's the third 11 a.m. kickoff this year here in Fort Worth. The Frogs have responded with a 7-3 lead over Kansas as you're watching Fox College Football. This is the Coors Light game summary as we prepare for the start of the second quarter here at Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth. Jay Keeps only 1 yard passing. Trevon Boykin 35 yards through the air, 33 yards on the ground, an interception and a rushing touchdown. TCU has outgained Kansas 103-19. The average per play is an edge of 8 yards to 1 for TCU.
Hey, it's been dominant. It was a dominant first quarter by TCU, and this is the first time this year in 6 games now that they've been dominant in the first quarter.
Handoff here on second down and 6. This drive is at the Kansas 33 to start the second quarter. Keon Stowers with a tackle after the 3-yard run by Aaron Green. Green only 12 carries coming into the game, but has 3 on this drive now.
Well, they're rotating all their backs right now. You can see Catalan coming off the field, Green coming off the field, trying to keep the guys fresh right now because they want to play fast. They want to play high tempo. We want to keep guys as fresh as possible.
Green has run for 14 yards on the drive. As Baldy noted, he's out of the game. Wayman James was in the backfield with Quentin motion, and Boykin throws a strike for a 5-yard gain and a first down. Ladarius Brown with the grab.
Well, that's a good throw by Boykin right here. I mean, he sets his feet right now, uncorks his hips. The ball's thrown with, some spin to it. Perfect location to Brown. I mean, that's a good throw. And it's a third down throw, or a throw for a first down.
And that's an area where TCU looking to improve. Only 31% this year on third down. They converted there. Ladarius Brown will catch again. And runs it upfield for a gain of 5 to the 20. Kiva Augustino bringing down Ladarius Brown. 7 catches coming into the game for Ladarius Brown, already 3 today.
Yeah, and it's just short stop routes. They're just taking what the defense gives them, but that's good. All these completions for Boykin are confidence builders.
The leading receivers, catch-wise for TCU this season, Cam White and Brandon Carter. They each have 13 for the year coming into play play today. Boykin has thrown it Brown's way 3 times. 1 to David Porter and 1 to Ty Slanina. Boykin in trouble, got away from 1 man, but then is brought down for a loss on the sack. Victor Simmons ends up with his 2nd sack of the season. Kevin Young, though, applied the first pressure to Boykin.
Well, they're coming off the edge right here, and they bring a little extra pressure. They're not a great pass rush team. They bring Heaney as well. They cut him, but they can't get away from Kevin Young. And so that's the first real negative play that this defense has produced. They need more of those plays, and that would make me very, very nervous if I was Kansas, because he is the heart and soul of this defense right now, and has been for 2 years.
Ben Heaney is from Hutchinson, Kansas, a junior.
That's a good sign.
Very good sign.
I mean, Charlie Weiss told us if there's one guy that he reminds him of, it was Zach Thomas. And, of course, Charlie was around Zach Thomas. Of course, you know, just the all-pro player out of Texas Tech. Everybody said undersized, but was just a machine when it came to studying film, playing with anticipation, wanting to make every tackle. And when you didn't make the tackle, you were upset by it, and that's what Heaney is.
With Heaney out, Skylar Miles will come into the game now for Kansas. That sack a moment ago by Victor Simmons has put TCU in a tough spot, 3rd and 12. The screen. Raymond James, and that play is blown up. Isaiah Johnson, who had the interception in the 1st quarter, brings James down for another negative play for TCU.
Back-to-back negative plays. And so Johnson's coming from the free safety position right here. And really, I just think the pressure right here coming at Boykin, he really threw that ball with a lot of air under it, and it just floated and allowed Johnson to kind of come up there and make the play. Johnson right now with an interception today and a big play backing TCU up. So Johnson off to a good start for the defense.
Jaden Oberchrome has a big leg. He hit a 60-yarder in high school. His long this year is 46. He's going to get an opportunity from 49. Maybe closer.
Is there an illegal substitution here?
Substitution infraction on the defense. They're 12 on the field. And it's still...
That's the referee, Cooper Castleberry, telling us about the 12 men on the field penalty. Charlie Weiss, 57 years old, from Trenton, New Jersey.
Well,
not happy.
Yeah, that's going to make Charlie sweat, sitting in the sun, standing in the sun there. I mean, just late getting off the field, 12 men are on the field, and you give Oberchrome a closer field goal attempt right now.
Would have been the longest of the year for Oberchrome to make it 49, but now he'll try from 44 with Matt Brown holding, and Oberchrome splits the sticks to put TCU up by 7. Oberchrome with his 8th field goal of the year. It gives TCU a 10-3 lead at home against the Kansas Jayhawks. Fox College Football is brought to you by Whataburger. Try one of Whataburger's all-time favorites 24 hours a day. And by Fred Loya Insurance. Take the 10-minute challenge and save. TCU did not win a home Big 12 game last year. They lost their 4 Big 12 games here at A&G Carter Stadium. They have a lead in their first Big 12 home game in this 2013 campaign, up 10-3 in the 2nd quarter. Jaden Oberchrome just hit the 44-yard field goal, and Ja'Cory Shepherd will not try and run this one out of the end zone. Lauren McKeeman has a game break for us. I think we're going to find out what's going on in Texas OU.
Oh, yes, to the Red River rivalry we go, and Blake Bell having some trouble here. Then defensive tackle Chris Whaley with a 31-yard touchdown pick 6. Always fun when the big guys get to score, and Mark Whaley was once a running back. Texas leads Oklahoma 10-3.
Well.
Yeah, Whaley was recruited right here to be a running back. But after that performance so far today, I think he'll enjoy the switch.
Some twos coming in on the defensive line now for TCU. Mike Tuahua, among those who have come into the game. Jake Heaps letting it fly. A deep ball in the play action. And this is caught. Wow. Inside the 25-yard line. Kansas has a catch on Barrett, no less.
Yeah.
For 50 yards.
And this is off play action right now, so they really sell the run. Watch, all these linebackers are going to step up right now. And this is the best protection Jake Heaps has had, and we've seen him air it out right right here, and this is Terzilli who makes the start today. He took the ball right away from the Big 12's best cornerback. And that's kind of what Charlie Weiss was hoping for, inserting Terzilli into the lineup. He had the one catch last week for a 28-yard touchdown. And he said he was our best skilled wide receiver a year ago, but he played himself down the depth chart in the spring and didn't help himself out in the fall. And now he's back, and that's the type of combination Charlie Weiss was hoping for from Heaps.
The unfortunate thing for Kansas is Terzilli is hurt after making the 50-yard reception. The junior from Butler, New Jersey, limping to the sideline for the Jayhawks.
And this is a great catch. I mean, right now, him and Brett go up for this ball. It's one-on-one in the phone booth, and Terzilli takes it right away from Brett. Now let's just grabs his right ankle, I think, as soon as he came down. That'd be unfortunate because they were expecting more big plays from him today.
Kansas's longest play in the passing game this year is 77 yards. That went for 50. And then Paul Dawson brings down Darian Miller. Miller running for the first time in the game, and he will go -3 on the tackle by Dawson.
Well, here's Dawson. I mean, this is his second negative play that he's created today. I mean, he runs right through the gap. I mean, right through the guard tackle gap there. Unblocked. It's, cleaned himself off after that. Second tackle for a loss. Pretty good job here by the new starting middle linebacker.
Heaps throwing, caught at the 20. Was that a completion? That's the ruling right now as Brandon Bourbon makes his first catch today for 9 yards.
That's a one-handed catch. Just a flat route out of the backfield by Bourbon. Watch this, one-handed all the way. So right one-handed grab, and he was able to tuck it away and really protect it. That's a heck of a, and protect it away from Dawson, who's trying to punch it out.
And made the football move. Secured it, made a football move, and then was brought down. Kansas 1 out of 5 on third down. This third down, they need 5. They're at the TCU 20. Heaps throwing. Oh, he threw it right to Barrett for an interception. Jason Barrett's 8th career interception.
I think it went right through the hands of Justin McKay, but Barrett will gladly take the gift.
First pick this year for the All-American Jason Barrett from Fairfield, California. Again, his 8th of this career.
Yeah, I mean, he gets the gift, but I think McKay, ball goes right through his hands.
Yeah, it did. You're right.
I mean, Jake Heaps put it right on him.
That's 2 interceptions today. Same thing happened to Boykin to the hands of Raymond James.
I mean, Brett, we can see the stat column, Brett with another play and all that kind of stuff, but really McKay's got to make that catch.
From the 10, a first down handoff, making people miss. B.J. Catalan out past the 15 for a gain of 7. Cassius Sendish, a safety from Waldorf, Maryland, with the tackle for Kansas. TCU's 31st interception, Baldy, since the beginning of last season. That's the second most in FBS over that time.
Well, you know, Justin McKay had gone to Oklahoma, and things didn't work out. He transferred, set out last year, and they're trying to replace Tony Pearson. They're a big play wide receiver, their leading receiver, and they were hoping they could get some plays from Terzilli and McKay, but that was just a drop.
Catalan went backwards and is still able to gain something out of that, making people miss again, and then darting upfield for a gain of 5 before Simmons brings him down.
You know, that's the punt returner in B.J. Catalan.
Yep.
He always feels like, you know what, this isn't, never really suggested a back up, but he backs up here to run away from Skylar Miles to go forward. But he's used to doing that in the open field. That's what great punt returners and kickoff returners do.
And keep in mind, Skylar Miles is out there because starting middle linebacker Ben Heaney is on the sideline being looked at right now. He went off the field early. A trip set to the right, 2 to the left, and a throw and an interception. And this is Ja'Cory Shepherd, and he's going to run it in for a pick 6 for Kansas.
Ja'Cory Shepherd from Mesquite, Texas, not very far away. One of 25 Texans on this roster. Took advantage of really miscommunication between Boykin and his receiver on the outside. He's throwing a stop. Ja'Cory Shepherd jumps in front of him. picks up a convoy here, running right down the Chisholm Trail, and Boykin's like, I gave you the signal to stop, and he didn't. And the communication leads to an easy touchdown by Kansas.
A 32-yard run back for Mesquite Horn High School's Ja'Cory Shepard. The pick six. Kansas has all 10 of their points today as a result of TCU turnovers. Shepard just tied the game. A momentum-changing play. Trevon Boykin throws the interception. Ja'Cory Shepard runs it back 32 yards for the score.
Well, watch Boykin right here. He's going to give Cam White a signal. He's going to just rub his fingers here on his left hand. That's telling him to stop because he sees the corner playing off right here. So he sees this corner off. He wants him just to run a stop route. And for whatever reason, Cam White just keeps going. But you've got to throw these balls on time. That's how a young quarterback, like, the trust breaks down. There it is. Like, I gave you the signal, run the stop route, and we are not tied 10-10 right now. Ja'Cory Shepard reads it all the way, and he's the easy benefactor. But there's a communication breakdown, receiver quarterback.
Big kickoff by Trevor Pardula through the end zone. JC, what'd you see on the pick six?
Well, you know, like Baldy said, I mean, their passing game has struggled quite a bit all year anyway. I mean, their leading receiver only had 13 catches on the entire year coming in, and it was stuff just like that, just not on the same page. And the game plan for Kansas defensively was to come in and stop the run and make Boykin beat him with his arm. Now, he's a talented guy. They all know that, but very inconsistent. And some of that inconsistency is because he and the receivers aren't on the same page all the time. And that, of course, led to the pick six.
Well, you wonder, JC, just what that effect is on a young quarterback and his confidence. I mean, he's had one receiver drop it that led to a pick. And then he had a wide receiver run a wrong route. And so now, what's his confidence level in the passing game?
Yeah, he starts holding the ball a little bit too long, making sure they're open.
The ball came out here on a running play for Wayman James, and Kansas has the third turnover. First play of the drive, Wayman James loses the ball. Victor Simmons has recovered for the Jayhawks.
Victor Simmons, the other inside linebacker right here.
Recovered by Kansas.
Boy, that's a great hit.
That's Shepard. He just ran it back.
Shepard. That's Ja'Cory Shepard putting his helmet right on the ball. You can't. You know how low he had to go to knock that ball out as well. You know, look, there's a lot of different ways to win a game. I mean, Kansas has not won a Big 12 game in 22 straight Big 12 games. You can see this defense right now is leading them in that direction.
The pass, Jake Heaps. Flag is down, nowhere to go. Heaps on the run. Forced out of bounds at the 24, but again, there is a marker down.
Holding by number 65 of the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
Mike Smithburg from Fairfield, Iowa.
Well, here's Smithburg inside right here, working along with against Chucky Hunter. You see that right hand is outside, and now he's got his left hand underneath him. And look, they're struggling up front. I mean, Smithburg, this is fifth straight start at right guard. He came in here at Iowa Western Community College. They were hoping to get better play from him. They tried him at center. It didn't work out. That's a costly penalty backing him up here early.
After they had just had the fumble recovery, and Barrett jumped the route. It is a catch for Kansas. Barrett, a fraction of an inch away from an interception.
Well, he's what you call cluing right now. He's looking at this stack formation and the quarterback. So he's seeing them both right now. This is what good corners do. I mean, he just played with tremendous anticipation. He missed it, but you know what? That's how you have to play the game. I mean, JC, you know, you got to play the game aggressively like that and take some chances. I don't think I have any problem with that.
Christian Matthews caught the pass. It was an 8-yard gain. Remember, a penalty pushed him back after a fumble recovery. Heaps throwing. Heaps for the end zone. Incomplete. Was looking for Trey Parmalee. Kevin White with the lockdown coverage at corner against Parmalee.
I mean, he's in his hip pocket. I mean, here's Parmalee coming outside right now against Kevin White. So you look at this and you go, okay, he's playing off. Now he knows he's on a go route. That's what you call playing over the top. He beat him to the route.
Hey, guys, I like the aggressiveness that Kansas is showing throwing the ball down the field. Remember, TCU safeties, those guys were creeping way down because of the run game, and they came out hammering the run. Now, obviously, it's 3rd and long, but even on 1st and 2nd, I like the way they're throwing it down the field.
3rd and 12 here. Will they go short and try to get better yardage for a field goal? They won't have a chance. Terrell Lathan gets to Heaps again. So did John Lewis. And a sack all the way back to the 45. What a response by the TCU defense after the Horned Frog offense turned it over.
I mean, look, the coverage is good. They're in lockdown mode right now. They're on them. Okay, they're daring the throw. And then as they're holding up their end on the back end, the front 4 is getting home. One of the best pass rushing defenses or defensive lines in the whole country.
20 sacks now this year for TCU, and a lot of coverage sacks. And Kansas recovered the fumble at the TCU 34, but they go backwards. They do get a nice punt, though, from Pardula. They are down inside the 5, the special teams, and they kill it at the 2. When we come back, we'll join Laura McKeeman in our Fox College Football studio for a look at what's coming up at halftime. Thank you, Laura. You see Gary Patterson, the TCU head coach. His team had turned it over only 6 times in the first 5 games, but 3 already today.
Well, the first play of the game. I mean, Raymond James has one go right through his hands. There's an interception there by Johnson, and then this pick 6 here, a miscommunication between Boykin and Cam White led to a touchdown. And Raymond James has the ball knocked right out by Ja'Cory Shepard and recovered there by Victor Simmons. And so 3 first-half turnovers has Kansas in this game.
And a punt by Pardula pins TCU at their 5. Boykin will let it fly from the end zone. Oh, and nearly caught by Colby Lisenby. Right out at midfield. He makes the dive, but can't pull it in.
I can't fault Boykin on any of these bad plays by TCU. You can't throw the ball any better than Boykin just did. I mean, he spun that ball. I mean, it's everybody's favorite play in pro football, or in all of football, just a long bomb. Watch this. He puts it right on a shelf right there. And the receivers just have to play better here right now.
When you draw plays in the backyard, nobody ever said go short. Yeah,
let's go long, right? Yeah. Go to the second telephone pole.
Making the stretch handoff. Boykin on the rollout. Throwing to the sideline. Cam White caught it, and he caught it. No, incomplete. He was out when he caught it at the 17.
Yeah, that was Cam White was out of bounds when he ran the route. I mean, he was out of bounds twice. I mean, here he is. He's going to be out. He's going to run an out and up. Now, you got to know where you're out on the field. All right, so right now that left foot's coming down out of bounds. I mean, that's just a careless play. Like, they can go review this, but we've got a good look at it. That's careless by Cam White. Bam, there's a great shot of it.
In the meantime, Dexter McDonald is being tended to, an injured Kansas player.
Well, that's the best cover corner for Kansas, Dexter McDonald.
Ja'Cory Shepard had the pick 6,
yeah.
but Dexter McDonald is up in Jason Barrett territory in terms of pass breakups this year. McDonald has 8.
Well, first of all, look at the size of him. I mean, he's almost 6'2", all of 200 pounds. Long arms. I mean, that's how you kind of how you want to draw your corners up.
Yeah.
You know, you get those long arms on wide receivers now. You control wide receivers. I think it's going to be okay. But that really, the story today to me.
The previous play is under further review.
Well, they're going to take a look at this. We're going to see Cam White's going to be out of bounds. Just looking at the size of McDonald, but the receivers are just letting this offense down right now. They are not playing. They're not playing smart. They're not playing with awareness. And the number one job of wide receivers is catch the ball. They're not doing that as well.
Cooper Castleberry will end up going on to the headset. The play is under review with 6:58 left in the second quarter. TCU's drive starting at their own 5. Their longest scoring drive this year was 80 yards, Brian, against SMU for a touchdown in the second half. So we have not seen TCU have to go, or at least successfully be able to go, this long of a drive this year. And now they're looking at a play on a pass to Cam White.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty easy. I mean, that is the white stripe. I don't think there's any sort of gray area when your foot is on the stripe. And really, as a wide receiver, you have to know where you're at on the field without ever looking down. I mean, you have to know the dimensions of the field. You run these routes all day long. And so you just can't put your foot out of bounds like that. But really, for Gary Patterson, he'd been talking all week long about finishing. Well, the reason why they have to finish better is because they're behind in a lot of these games. And a lot of it is because of the offense and the lack of production. And you can see today that the wide receivers are a problem.
Their offense comes in averaging 28 points a game.
After further review, the receiver came down out of bounds. It's third down.
Their offense at 321 yards per game is last in the Big 12 and ranks 114th in the nation.
Well, I mean, look, they've played 3 teams this year that are undefeated. Well, have a combined record of 15-1.
And that's LSU, Texas Tech, and
Right.
Oklahoma, and lost by a combined 23 points.
But if you're going to play with those teams and you're going to beat those type of teams, you need better production from your offense. We've seen what Baylor has been able to do so far this year. That's kind of the gold standard in this Big 12 right now of how you got to play offense.
The gold standard, the silver standard, the platinum standard. They've got the precious metals marked in corner with what they're doing on offense.
They sure do. They got some real gems at the skill position offensively. So 3rd and 10 for Boykin.
At the 5 after the review of the incomplete pass to Cam White. The handoff goes to Aaron Green. And Green puts his head down and gets blasted at the 9.
And look, the fans are going to blast, I think, Gary Patterson for that decision. But when you have 3 first-half turnovers, I mean, I think you got to play conservatively from your 5-yard line. Put your defense on the field. They're not getting beat right now. Put your special teams out there, and that's always sort of been Gary Patterson's formula. Great special teams and great defense. Won a lot of games in Fort Worth here doing that.
Ethan Perry's longest punt this year is 52 yards. TCU is hoping for something like that. The line of scrimmage is the 9. He got a lot into it, forcing a fair catch by Connor Embry at the 43. The punt is 48 yards, and Jake Heaps will lead the Kansas offense out onto the field when we return with 6:18 left in the first half, tied at 10. 10-10 here in Fort Worth, TCU and Kansas. Our sideline analyst is J.C. Pearson. What are you thinking, J.C.?
You know, guys, coming off the field, Javon Boykin looked to me like he was really frustrated, and I don't blame him. I mean, his numbers don't look well, but it's not really his fault. It's this receiver's fault, just like Baldy was talking about up top. And the offensive coordinator, Jared Anderson, told us that in the meetings that these receivers have been so inconsistent, and that's why they don't have very many catches. But I'm wondering how it's going to weigh on the mind of Javon Boykin as this game moves forward, because he is starting to show some frustration.
The numbers today, J.C. and Baldy for Javon Boykin are 6 of 11, 40 yards, 2 interceptions. Barrett missed a tackle. Sims is able to keep his feet driving forward and make it back to the line of scrimmage. Paul Dawson has had a great day at middle linebacker, getting the start today instead of Jonathan Anderson.
Well, they called Jason Verrett's number right here. He's on a corner cat blitz. Your playmakers just love their numbers called. So he doesn't make the tackle, but he really makes the play. Because you make James Sims stutter in the backfield right there. And the good thing about that blitz is he never gave it away.
Sims will give it another go on a straight-ahead run. Davion Pearson with a tackle after a 5-yard pickup, putting Kansas in 3rd and 5.
I like Jason Verrett, though. I talked to him down the field before the game. He always has a smile on his face. He's just one of those guys that plays with a great deal of energy, a great deal of confidence, and he's a happy kid. He likes the game of football. Now, he's got to jump around the shower just to get wet. I mean, there's not a whole lot to him now, all right? Body fat of a hummingbird, but he can play the game of football. He's a good tackler, but his specialty is right now 3rd down. Let me go lock up on somebody. Blew my eyes to his belt buckle and not let him get away.
AP third-team All-American last year. Jim Thorpe watch list this year. And it's Paul Dawson again. And coverage bringing down Brandon Bourbon. Short of the first down. They needed 5. They only pick up 2.
Well, Paul Dawson has had a nice job, nice game at middle linebacker. I mean, here he is. He's just reading this right now. That's his man. He comes here. He's going right with him. So Bourbon's in the backfield, flat route. He gets over the top. never adjusts his angle, cleans up the tackle. We've mentioned Paul Dawson's name here probably 5 or 6 times. A lot of them for negative plays. Having a nice job here at middle linebacker.
10 tackles today. Transfer from Trinity Valley Community College in Athens, Texas. He was actually a wide receiver some in high school at Skyline in Dallas.
That's
Pardula's punt spinning and going into the end zone for the touchback. That's a 50-yard boot by Trevor Pardula, who has a 78-yard punt in one game earlier this year. Nightly on Fox Sports Live, join Jay Onright and Dan O'Toole, along with Donovan McNabb, Andy Roddick, and Carissa Thompson as they bring you all the scores, news, and highlights you need. Catch Fox Sports Live nightly on Fox Sports 1. The TCU offense starting at their own 20.
very reminiscent of the game last year in Lawrence, Kansas. That TCU won 20-6, but they turned it over 4 times that day. Allowed Kansas to stay in that game late into it.
Kansas has lost 22 straight Big 12 games. It's Boykin down the sideline, incomplete at the 50, looking for Cam White. There's a marker down. The ball bounced off his shoulder, but he was interfered with by Dexter McDonald.
That was a late flag. That play was over. Ball had bounced off of Cam White, and then they threw the flag.
Pass interference by number 12 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it's a first down.
Well, let's see. Dexter McDonald here is getting good coverage. That's, well,
tucked on his shoulder?
Yeah, he got his arm on him. He kind of restricted the ability for Cam White to get both hands up, I guess, but I don't know. Looked like a pretty good play on the outside.
The 8.3 penalties per game averaged by Kansas, 9th highest total in FBS.
I like the way he challenged him. Right after that, he gets right up in his face and challenges the receiver again.
There's that moving snap. Boykin with the flip to Catalon. Catalon able to drag tacklers forward. We think about the elusiveness, but how about the power there by Catalon on a run into Jayhawk territory for 20 yards?
Well, this is the second time they've run this today. This kind of moving option sweep that they kind of favor. And you watch, he's going to get a head start here on this play. See, the defense is already a man behind. That's what they want to do. Eventually, they want to just pitch it as quickly as they can.
Substitution in action by number 23 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
The penalty on Catalon. So it will be 1st and 15 rather than 1st and 10 after Catalon and his 20-yard run. That's TCU's first penalty today. Kansas has 3.
And when you have Boykin in the backfield along with Catalon, I mean, that's 2 guys that can really turn the corner on you. You've got to defend an awful lot of offense when those guys are on the field.
TCU at the 50. Boykin is in trouble. Escapes the rush for now. Is caught from behind though. Stumbles to the 40. Michael Reynolds with a sack. From Wichita, Kansas, Michael Reynolds has his 3rd sack this season.
Part of the problem is when you're Trevon Boykin and you're the athlete that you are, and you're a good runner, you always think that you can elude the rush. I mean, he could just come and chase right now. But okay, he doesn't like what he sees. He's stuck on his runner. But you just think right now, I can outrun this defense. But that's the guy that they were spying, Michael Reynolds, on him today. And he did a good job coming off the corner. That's part of the reason why they're spying him. He's got the speed to chase him down.
There was a 5-yard penalty, now a loss of 10 on the sack. TCU is at 2nd and 25. Late in the play clock, the snap is off, the handoff is made, and Aaron Green is tripped up. There was a hold, but Dexter McDonald got enough to bring him down after a 5-yard run.
Well, we're seeing good plays from McDonald, because if he doesn't make this play on this cutback, James may keep running. So you're going to just see Reynolds right here is, again, playing on the outside right now up against the tight end. Good job. That's what you call setting the edge. He turned it inside, and then McDonald was in what you call the C gap. So really that play on the outside by Reynolds really allowed McDonald to make that tackle.
Walker with the tight end, Stephen Bryant, a junior from New Deal, Texas. 3rd and a long way to go. They need 20. Boykin was directing traffic, but will opt to keep it. makes a move to the 50, inside the 45, got a lot back, but not nearly enough. 4th and 8 coming up after a 12-yard scramble.
And Mark, one of the things they want to do with Trevon Boykin, and it's difficult for guys that are athletes, is once he starts scrambling, can he keep his eyes up down the field?
Yep.
And I just think that that's got to be, if he's going to take a step up at the quarterback, yeah, he's elusive. But he's got to keep his eyes up down the field to see what receiver breaks open. As soon as he becomes a runner, first of all, you get hit like that and you limp off the field, and then you kind of give up on any sort of a play down the field.
Hunting here, Ethan Perry. He's averaged 43.5 yards today. His season average is 41 yards per boot. The line of scrimmage, the Kansas 43, so trying to pin him deep, and will. Checked up and will be killed at the 5-yard line by TCU on special teams. Let's get a Fox College football game break. What does Laura McKean have for us right now?
Well, Mark, the underdog Texas Longhorns have come to play against Oklahoma. 3rd and 12, and Case McCoy with a beautiful pass to Marcus Johnson, 59 yards, to put Texas up 17-3 over the Sooners. This game is turning out to be a really exciting matchup.
Mark Followell, Brian Baldinger, J.C. Pearson here at the newly rebuilt 2nd season of Amon G. Carter Stadium. The clouds are breaking. The temperature has warmed to 86 degrees.
Yeah, it's a good day. And if I'm TCU's defense right now, I want to try and stop them. Use all my timeouts right now and keep Kansas locked up here and try to get the ball back one more shot here. As they should not let this time tick off. I'm surprised that TCU isn't using their timeouts.
Sims ran it for 7 yards.
I mean, they could get the ball back here if you stop them on 3 plays, and they're content. Now they're going to call the timeout as 14 seconds tick off the clock.
TCU calls their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Maybe the timeout should have been called earlier. Obviously, Gary Patterson not happy with Chris Hackett among those on defense. Coming up on the Fox College Football Halftime Report presented by
Please
Arby's.
set the game clock to 41 seconds.
Laura McKeeman and Tony Banks will have highlights of the Red River rivalry matchup. Also in the Big 12 today, Iowa State at Texas Tech. And they'll be talking about the Baylor Bears' first road test later this afternoon in Manhattan and the Little Apple against Kansas State.
How did Art Briles get it so that he doesn't play a road game until October 12th? I mean, that's a pretty nice job of breaking in a new quarterback and a lot of new players into that system, all at home.
Another run and a first down is picked up and more. Sims bounced off Hackett and is out beyond the 20. That's the 19th run today for Kansas. They're almost at the 2-to-1 ratio, by the way, that Charlie Weiss wanted. 19 runs, 10 passes.
Well, I think he wanted more production, but I don't think Charlie Weiss, I think he wants to make this as short a game as possible, take as much air out of the ball as he can, and keep it as tight as he possibly can until maybe the final possession. Try to win it at the very end.
The 20th running play today for Kansas. Jonathan Anderson and a whole lot of black and purple swarm to the ball, and James Sims is forced down. His 15th carry today and his final one and the final play of the first half.
Well, Charlie's got some good plays from his defense. Good job by the special teams right now, and 10-10 game, he'll take it. It's got to be disappointing for Trevon Boykin and the TCU offense right now when they had a sense of urgency to come in here, and offense will play much better than what they've done in this first half.
Halftime in Fort Worth, the score, TCU 10, Kansas 10. When we come back, Laura McKeeman and Tony Banks are in the studio for Fox College Football Halftime, presented by Arby's. Homecoming today at TCU. The Horned Frogs getting ready to take the field for the start of the third quarter. College football on Fox. I I'm Mark Followell, joined by Brian Baldinger in the booth. We'll talk to J.C. Pearson, our sideline analyst, in a moment. But first, Baldy, let's pick your brain about this 10-10 first half so far.
Well, it's not what we normally see in the Big 12. I mean, but we're talking about two teams that are struggling offensively, and we're talking about a turnover-marred first half. First 30 minutes, I mean, it was just turnovers on both sides of the ball right here, and that's kind of how it got started from the very first play of the game here for TCU. As Trevon Boykin has one bounced off his running back's hands, and Isaiah Johnson picks it off. Jason Barrett got a gift here. It was a drop pass by Kansas, and then Ja'Cory Shepard kind of reads the eyes of Trevon Boykin, has a pick six there, the only Kansas touchdown. That mix-up between him and Cam White, and then Raymond James fumbles right there, recovered by Kansas. And so you look at these stats right here. I mean, it's defensively minded. I mean, TCU held Kansas to 100 total yards of offense in that first half on 30 plays. I mean, they did what they did, but then TCU really can't get their passing game going right now. And so, JC, I bring you in here right now. We started this game by saying that Kansas was playing their fifth different offensive line combination, and how quickly they could start to gel and come together might determine the outcome of this game. But I don't really see that right now being the biggest issue for Kansas.
Yeah, and they've got to do some things to help those guys out up front. Like you said, they're a patchwork group. And I think the quarterback's got to be sharper. I think Jake Heaps has to be sharper. Only 5 completions in that first half. A lot of the balls are late and they're behind receivers, so they don't have a chance to run and catch a short pass and turn it into a big gain. I think if he could be sharper, it's going to help that offensive line and that KU offense in this second half.
JC, conversely, Trevon Boykin is a guy right now that's trying to play quarterback.
Yeah.
He's actually playing pretty well. He's not getting much help from his receivers. Miscommunication, drops right now. I just wonder, 3 first half, turnovers right now. Does he have confidence? Does he have confidence in his receivers when it gets a third down and he's got to throw it?
Well, I started to see some frustration from him as he was coming off the sidelines there at the end of the half. So I think what we're going to see the second half is more runs by Trevon Boykin, whether they're designed runs or whether he's going to drop back and pass and then pull it down and run, because you have to think that his confidence in those receivers has to be down just a bit because they've hung him out to dry. So I think we're going to see him run the ball a lot more this second half, and they need it, really.
The first half stats again brought to you by Bank of America. Just to recap, TCU 7 first downs, only 4 for Kansas. Total yards, Kansas 100, TCU 156. Kansas passed for 69, ran for 31. TCU ran for 116, passed for only 40. 8 yards deep into the end zone, and so no opportunity for B.J. Catalon to return the kickoff of Trevor Pardula. Trevon Boykin, 40 yards in the air. 5 runs for 56 yards for B.J. Catalon.
Yeah, you look at Boykin and Catalon, and most of those rushing yards came on that second drive of the game after the interception. They went to the read option, and really Kansas didn't have an answer for it in that drive, and they basically ran the ball down the field, wondering if they would come out to that style of offense here in this third quarter.
A little warmer and a little sunnier than I think most expected today, and the muggy factor is on the rise. Boykin will throw on the first play of the third quarter. It's caught by David Porter. He broke through a tackle. David Porter at the 50. David Porter will pick up a block. Racing for the end zone. David Porter will get there. Touchdown, 75 yards for Porter.
David Porter catches his first touchdown of the season because 2 Kansas Jayhawks just completely whiffed on the tackle. McDonald and Sendish, ran right through arm tackles, and the fans aren't in their seats here, and TCU gets an early touchdown.
The first play of the first half was a disaster for TCU. It was an interception by Kansas. The first play of the second half is a thing of beauty. Junior from DeSoto, David Porter, his first touchdown reception this year, the 3rd of his time here at TCU. Watch him go through the tackle of Dexter McDonald and off to the races. 75 yards, the Frogs up by 7. Fox College Football is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. report today, the longest play from scrimmage for TCU was a 56-yard pass play, but now a 75-yard throw and run for a TD. Boykin to David Porter.
Well, I mean, really, this play should be stopped right there. I mean, there you go. You got McDonald, you got Sendish coming right here. I mean, you got to get him Porter down for a 10-yard gain, but when your safety and corner miss like that, the result is 75 yards. And that's not what Kansas talked about in the locker room at halftime.
Darian Miller from the goal line, hit at the 18, driving out to the 25. There will never be a more simpler BMW scoring drive to tell you about. One play, 75 yards, 13 seconds. And again, it betters the Juwan Story 56-yard touchdown reception against SMU as TCU's longest play from scrimmage this year.
Well, and that will help the stats for Javon Boykin and help his confidence with his receivers because they came out and put the ball in his hands and said, you know what, we're going to believe in you. We want our receivers to play better, and Porter just helped that cause.
His touchdown pass this season for Javon Boykin. Now Jake Heaps throws in the flat. It's caught by Brandon Bourbon. Bourbon with a 2-yard gain on the pass play with Elisha Olabo knocking him down. Jake Heaps is throwing for 69 yards. Sims ran for 53 with the bulk of the work running-wise, and Andrew Terzilli caught a 50-yard bomb in the first half.
And really, their big play player, Tony Pearson, is not playing today. He's here. He's on the sideline, but he's not playing. And he's a guy that could match a big play that we just saw from Terry Porter. And so now you got to find those kind of plays from other guys.
David Porter, the 75-yard touchdown reception, has TCU up by 7 a minute into the third quarter. Baldy was just referencing Tony Pearson. Some numbers about his big play capability coming up in a moment. That was deflected, but still caught for 25. And now Sims gets a block. Racing up the sideline, fumble the ball, and it's recovered by Hackett for TCU. They got the big play, but turned it over at the end. Chris Hackett from John Tyler High School, and Tyler with the recovery.
Well, they got the play they wanted. You know, they got the screen away to the weak side. Really, I mean, Heaps did a good job of selling it. He got a couple of guys out front. And he just got careless with the football right here. The ball's away from his body. Look at Hackett.
Forced it and recovered it, Baldy.
Yeah, I mean, there was nobody trailing the play. And really, Sims, you get down in the open field like that, the ball comes away from your body. You look for the big plays. His eyes are looking to match that touchdown by Porter. And look at the body is loose right now, and Hackett doesn't even see Hackett. Hackett sticks this left hand out and just pokes it away.
From their own 47, Boykin throwing, Porter again. They make the tackle. Sendish, coincidentally enough, was the guy who got him down at the first down marker. Well, 12 yards there, JC.
Yeah, guys, I think a big thing for this KU defense is Ben Haney is back here on the bike. Doesn't look like he's going to come back to play. And the one guy on this defense that was a difference maker that the coaching staff told us was Ben Haney. Looks like he's done for the day.
And it's still first down.
There's Ben Haney on the bike. The last place that Dave Campo, the former Cowboy head coach and now defensive coordinator for Kansas, wants to see Ben Haney.
Well, you lose your best player on offense last week in Tony Pearson. You lose your best player on defense. Kansas is just not one of those programs that there's not a drop-off when the backup goes in there.
David Porter has the best receiving yard day for a TCU player this year with 109 yards on 3 catches. Caught the first 2 passes in the third quarter. On the option, Boykin the toss, the run by B.J. Catalon on 1st and 15 after the penalty. The run is a 5-yard pickup, gains the penalty yardage back. Ben Goodman with a tackle for Kansas.
Skylar Miles has to make that play, and really, when they start moving that quarterback before the snap, really, that's the 3rd time they've run that play. You really should know exactly what's going on by the 3rd time you see it. First of all, you had to practice it during the week. Dave Campo can put him in a position to make plays, but you got to tackle in the open field right now. And one missed tackle by 2 players has Kansas down 17-10.
Joey Hunt, the center from El Campo, snaps back to Boykin. This is 2nd down and 11. Boykin will run. Feeds Skylar Miles to the edge. Stepping up was Dexter Linton to force Boykin out of bounds. The run right to the sticks. They needed 11. That's about what Boykin picks up.
Well, you know, this is, I mean, he's their leading rusher on the team. And so this is what always drives the Dave Campo crazy right now. Trying to hold him up right there, protect him. It's good sportsmanship. But really, I mean, that's what drives you crazy right there is you cover the receivers down the field, but he's going to be able to escape like that up the middle.
First down at the 30. And Boykin able to weave through the Kansas defense into the first down. Wrestled down by Victor Simmons and Dexter Linden.
Well, you know, Boykin has started wide receiver this year. He's played running back, you know, when Pahal was healthy, and here he's a pretty good running back. You make a guy miss there, your eyes are down the field. You're not allowing anybody to get a clean shot on you. He's got good running back instincts.
Went for 49 yards today. Boykin and the TCU Horned Frogs moving. This started because of Kansas's second turnover today. A fumble by James Sims. Big hole for Catalan on the handoff. Catalan's run on first down is inside the Jayhawk 15. Flag comes out at the end. Let's see what Cooper Castleberry, the referee, tells us momentarily.
Grabbing the face mask by number 26 of the defense. Penalties half the distance to the goal. And it's first down.
Holloman from Philadelphia, a sophomore.
Well, this is not a good third quarter for Charlie Weiss. Extended halftime because of homecoming here in Fort Worth, and they haven't done anything right since they've come out of the tunnel. Charlie Weiss telling us this week that he practiced for lightning or any kind of rain delays or lightning delays. He had 2 of them last year, but that's not a factor today. But they're not sharp coming out here in the third quarter.
At the 7 on first and goal, a handoff to Catalan. Catalan hit the 5, and they hang on by the ankles. Jake Love wouldn't let him get any farther. Officially to the 4, second and goal. He practiced for lightning. There was rain in the forecast, but the skies have cleared up. The weather guys miss it every once in a while, but they'll tell you, to a sports person, Baldy, they say, hey, you start predicting ball scores 4 or 5 days ahead of time and see how well you
I always just look out my window myself and see what his weather's doing.
That's the best way to do it.
Wholesale substitutions here on the defensive line for Kansas. I would expect to run with that fullback in the backfield right now.
And Stephen Bryant has come in at fullback, and now there's a whistle on this second down and goal to go snap of the 4. With all that changing.
An illegal substitution by the defense. 12 players on the field. The penalty's half the distance to the goal, and it's still second down.
More things going wrong for Kansas.
Yeah, it's not just the players. I mean, you got to put that on coaching right there. However you substitute, and there was a wholesale substitution there. Putting 12 guys on the field always falls on the shoulders of the coaches.
They started at the 47 of TCU. They've taken it 51 of the 53 yards toward the end zone.
Just practice a substitution again. I don't know if Gary Patterson now wants a timeout to talk about things.
TCU calls their first time out of the half.
There's Dave Campo again, the Kansas defensive coordinator. Trevon Boykin will lead TCU back to the sideline with this timeout. The Frogs up by 7. In the third quarter, it's a TCU 17-10 advantage over Kansas. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. They're in quite a run of success here at TCU. 86 wins since 2005, the most wins by a school in the Lone Star State. The most wins by a private school, the 5th most overall in FBS. They had a run from 2005 to 2011 of 77-13, the second best winning percentage. Only Boise State was better than the nearly 86% of games won by TCU. Out of the timeout, handoff, Catalan surging on second and goal. He is in for the touchdown for TCU.
Fifth touchdown of the year for B.J. Catalan, and their good job on the right side by Eric Tausch and the big V, getting good push. Guy staying low right now, just digging him out. Good cut by Catalan, and then stretching that ball out over the field and hanging on to it at the same time.
Now, Baldy, if you're going to bring up Big V, the right tackle for TCU, we've got to say, just to make sure that everybody knows, it's Halapuli Vati Vaitai.
Well, I can see that you've been busy working on your vowel pronunciation.
But he's Big V, and he helped plow the road for the 2-yard touchdown run for B.J. Catalon. It started because of that fumble by James Sims, and then Catalon takes it in, and TCU has opened up the lead to 14. B.J. Catalon has run for 72 yards today. The last two, a touchdown plunge to put TCU in front, 24-10. This year, TCU has forced 15 turnovers. 2 of them have come today. And the second turnover that was forced earlier here in the third quarter is what led to the Catalon touchdown drive. Jaden Oberchrome, the sophomore, with the kickoff. A chance to return. Miller a catch. Darian Miller at the 5. Hit just outside the 20. He'll make it to the 25. That forced turnover a moment ago is what will feature in the Geico playbook, Baldy.
Well, you're talking about the turnovers. Let's watch Chris Hackett here, because this is a pretty good screen by James Sims, and here he punches the ball out. All right, it's not enough just for him to punch it out, though. He's also going to double back and recover it, too. So we got the forced fumble, and this is just a heads-up play. Long arms, he's 6'2", he pokes it out, and then he doubles back, and he gets it. And so that lead quickly turns from 17-10 to 24-10, and he's the leading tackler on this team. He's their turnover machine. Hackett's playing another good game for him.
They'll run it with James Sims. Sims broke 1 tackle and is able to carry a couple of other defenders to the 35. Picked up 10. They started at the 25 after the run back by Darian Miller.
Okay, so, look, I mean, you're now down 2 scores. You're down 14 points here. How long will Charlie Weiss be patient to run the ball with James Sims and be content with doing that? You're going to need some plays out of the passing game. As long as you can keep running it, some threat of play action. There's probably some individual plays they have in for this week.
Running it here, Elisha Olabode steps up and meets Sims. A greeting at the line of scrimmage. Olabode stops Sims for a short gain.
Yeah, I mean, look, these two safeties now, Hackett and Olabode, they lead the team in tackles. They're 1 and 2 in tackles. They get nosy now. They want to make the plays. So that's when you have to think about the play action, getting the ball over the top of them.
Yeah, you're right, Baldy, because those safeties are way down in the box. That time, Olabode is standing right there. He's unblocked because you don't account for the safeties in the run game, so they're unblocked. And like you said, if they're that far down, you got to play action them and go down the field.
Heaps forced out of the pocket. Marker down. Heaps is down. Sam Carter sacked Jake Heaps, and a penalty on the play as well. JC and I did the Grambling TCU game, the first game here last season. Elisha Olabode had a pick 6 in that one.
Holding by number 73 of the offense. The penalty is declined. It's 2nd down.
Well, this is what Jake Hibbs had to look at down here. There's Jason Brett down here on coverage here.
Correction, it's 3rd down.
He's doubled there. There's no way you can throw it to Trey Parmalee. And up at the top, Kevin White, same thing on Josh Ford. This makes this defense very good. One of the reasons why they're the best sacking teams in the league is they get excellent corner coverage from 2 very good players.
And now Kansas is in a very, very tough spot, to say the least. 3rd and 18.
Screen again.
Sims broke away from Chris Hackett and then shoved out of bounds by Jonathan Anderson.
The Kansas just isn't good enough right now to overcome negative plays. You get a hold, you get a negative play. They're just not a big play offense right now where they can just drop back and pick those yards up. And so they have to do everything meticulously correct every play in order to kind of stay on schedule.
They scored 10 points off turnovers in the first half, including a pick 6 by Ja'Cory Shepard. But they missed a tackle, giving up a 75-yard touchdown run on the first play of the third quarter. Touchdown pass, that is. And then fumbled, and that led to TCU's 53-yard scoring drive a moment ago. And this is fumbled on the punt. Here is the chance for Kansas. Brandon Carter, who has not seen much action today, fumbles the punt, running up, and Kansas has recovered it. The Jayhawks with a play on special teams.
Just not a smart play by Brandon Carter at all. I mean, he's not involved in the passing game, so now maybe he thinks he's got to do something in the return. This ball is short. He's looking down to see where Kindred is. He never gets underneath the ball. Never gets underneath it right now, and so really that's exactly what Kansas needed to give him life and to keep him in the game.
One of two players you handled long snapping duties for Kansas recovered that. John
The ruling
Wordle.
on the field was that the punt was muffed and recovered by the kicking team. The previous play is under further review.
John Wordle, there he is again. Shares long snapping duties with Riley Jeffers, and he recovers. Let's make sure that Brandon Carter did touch it. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, well, I just want to make sure, which is fine. But yeah, this is going to give Kansas real life right now. It's just not smart here. I mean, when you have to put your hands out like that, you should just get away from the ball. There's no harm up 14 points with just getting away and just letting it bounce. That's decision-making by the returner.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down.
That'll get you in the doghouse pretty quick. That kind of play.
And it's been an up-and-down season for Brandon Carter as it is.
Brandon Carter caught a huge pass last year in Lawrence that broke the game open, type game, but that wasn't a good decision, JC.
No, and the thing is, Bald, is he took his eyes off the ball so late. As a return guy, you can put your eyes down early, but he waited so long, and then by the time he looked back to find the ball, he could never get there.
Now Heaps and Kansas have at the TCU 27. And they throw it incomplete on first down.
Hey, Heaps had good protection that time, and he had Mundine open in the middle of the field.
Jermaine Mundine, another Texan on this roster, by the way, Baldy, from Denison.
Yep.
Up by Lake Texoma.
Well, Mundine is a guy that, you know, can win in the red zone for you, this part of the field. I mean, he's got 2 touchdown catches this year so far.
Yeah, caught a pass down the seam for a TD last week against Texas Tech. Heaps throwing on second down. Loops this one, and it is Mundine, and he will get away to score. Touchdown, Kansas.
Well, they came right back to him, and he won on a corner route. And look, this is what he is. He's a receiver at tight end. Protection was very good up front, 4-man rush. Good job by Sterling at right tackle. Here it is. Just a little man beater there, crossing each other, and Mundine's a finisher.
Jermaine Mundine with his 3rd touchdown reception of the year. Matthew Wyman makes it a 7-point game. It was a turnover, the 4th of the day by TCU, that sets up Kansas with the short field. And on the second play, Jake Heaps finds Jermaine Mundine. He'll step into the end zone. Heaps loves it as he throws his 5th touchdown pass of the season. Kansas down by 7 now. The touchdown for the Kansas Jayhawks pulls them to within 7 of TCU here in Fort Worth in the 3rd quarter. From the crew that brings you America's #1 pregame show comes Fox Football Daily with all the news, opinions, and insight you need on the NFL and college football. Fox Football Daily, weeknights at 6 Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1.
Oh, they got a slate of good games tomorrow, including Cowboys and Redskins.
That's the game tomorrow night, yes.
Yeah.
Through the end zone, B.J. Catalon won't get a chance to return. But Laura McKeeman will get a chance for a Fox College football game right now.
Well, thanks so much, Mark. And to the SEC we go. 14th ranked South Carolina at Arkansas. Connor Shaw going deep. Finds Demir Bird for the 45-yard touchdown pass. Of course, Steve Spurrier, a former quarterback himself, he's loving it. And 31-7 Gamecocks, guys.
Steve was my former offensive coordinator at Duke. Long, long time ago, before he was ever a head coach.
Javon Boykin, 6 of 11 for 40 yards in the first half. 2 for 2, 87 yards here in the second half. They had a man go in motion for the far side, but they went inside handoff Wayman James, and Wayman James nowhere to go.
Yeah,
Isaiah Johnson and Michael Reynolds.
Yeah, Isaiah Johnson, who had the game's first takeaway. First pass by Boykin, and Michael Reynolds had a good game today. Anytime you can get TCU into a negative situation here, make them lose a yard, it's good because it puts more pressure on this quarterback here to make a big play.
James lost a yard. Half yard. Fake to James this time, and a throw and driven down. Cameron Eccles-Looper did catch it at the 30. But Cassius Sindish, who missed a vital tackle earlier in the third quarter, was very sure about that one.
Now that one was textbook now. I mean, he drove really the face mask right through the midsection of the receiver right here and just drove him right into the ground. I mean, that's the shoulder. That's just textbook heads-up football. And I'm sure Sindish is still thinking about that first play of the third quarter where Porter scored on a broken tackle. That'll stay in your mind because I think these two safeties, junior college transfers, have played pretty well this year.
Both teams struggling on third down today. That's been their MO all season long. TCU is 9th in the Big 12, 107th in the nation, and 31% on third downs. They need about 4. Boykin will throw, and along the sideline, the ruling is it is caught by Cam White.
I think he's going to be short. That's a good job by Cam White at coming back to the football. Kansas had a 5-man rush. Good throw by Boykin.
Yeah. His feet are inside the 35.
Yeah, but it's going to be about a yard short.
Yep.
That's a great series by Kansas. Good concentration by Cam White, getting the toe down. Really short of the first down mark.
TCU's 4 turnovers today have been converted into all 17 Kansas points. And now they're going to get the ball back with Ethan Perry with a wobbly punt. And Embry! We saw Brandon Carter with a miscue. Embry fumbles, but is right on top of it. 5:36 to go on the third. Kansas has it at their own 21, Baldy.
Well, his decision here is, all right, fair catch, but then he's thinking, well, if I let this thing bounce, that ball's going to really get a lot of real estate right now. So let me just catch it and down it, but he took his eyes off it. Look, he's looking at the defender in front of him and not doing his job, which is basically to possess the ball first. Seeing 2 returners here take their eyes off the ball. Just careless mistakes on the last 2 returns.
Charlie Weiss looks on. We noted earlier the 22-game Big 12 losing streak. They've also lost 20 straight on the road. Their last road win at UTEP, September of 2009. Heaps with a long ball down the seam on the right side. Great coverage. No shot for Trey Parmalee to get any separation from Kevin White.
Now we've seen both White and Barrett just lock up their receivers right now. There's got to be something open underneath. That was max protection. They kept both backs in. So they're looking for the big play. And they've gotten a couple of them today. The one to Terzilli. We haven't seen Terzilli since his 50-yard catch.
9 for 16, 131 through the air today for Heaps. A score and a pick. The delay, the handoff. Sims, ankle tackle, but still able to jump out to the 29. Chucky Hunter got him.
Mundine's taken himself off the field, which is crucial on this third down. He's a guy that you would look to on third down from the tight end position. Something happened to him on the play.
Mundine getting looked at on the sideline. Kansas, a short 3 is what they need. They converted their first third down today, but they're 0 for 8 since.
Yeah, but this is what Heaps needs. He needs a go-to guy on 3rd and 3 and a go-to play on 3rd and 3.
A low snap won't help. Now pressure, down he goes. Paul Dawson and Jonathan Anderson bury Heaps on the blitz.
I mean, they just blitzed the middle linebacker right up the middle. Dawson with at least his 11th tackle today. He's completely unblocked on the play. So there's a protection breakdown right now. I mean, here he is. He's coming right up the middle. I mean, he's unblocked. He's unaccounted for. So I don't think there's any hot read that can take care of a blitzing middle linebacker.
Another sack for TCU, 4 today, putting them at 22 this season. Louisville leads the nation at 23. Cameron Eccles-Looper, a chance to return. Hold to the 40, hold to the 50. 2 flags are down, and Eccles-Looper has a 30-yard return in that neighborhood anyway, 30 yards, that may be coming back with 4:01 to go in the third.
Pardula has some leg, but sometimes he doesn't get great height on the ball. He gets great distance. And so the returner has a chance to take it back.
50 yards on that punt for Pardula, who's second in the nation, 47.5 per kick this year. A junior college transfer. Charlie Weiss was talking him up at Big 12 Media Day in Dallas back in July, Balding.
Well, they had a poor kicking situation a year ago. He brought in 2 junior college transfers.
During the return, holding by number 35 of the receiving team. The penalty is 10 yards, and it's first down.
Disappointing penalty. The call on Sammy Douglas, and it will negate that return. You weren't shy when you talked to Charlie about their poor special teams situation last year. It's better this year. Now TCU, the miscue on special teams.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get a hold on the play. It was actually picked up by 2 different officials. So TCU doesn't get quite the same field position that they were going to get.
Instead, Catalan will give it a go on a handoff from their own 32.
Ball's out.
Kansas says the ball came out. It did. They recover. Keon Stowers has recovered it for Kansas.
Look at the energy that Kansas defense has. I mean, these turnovers right now, they're just feasting on them.
Stowers is the one who knocked it out with 3:54 to go in the third quarter. It looks like Jordan Tavai is the one who got the recovery.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Stowers is the captain, the nose tackle. He puts the big right paw out and strips him. There's the strip, ball's out. And Tavai is, oh yeah, Tavai's just right there. Picks up the loose ball, and that's clean.
Hey guys, I talked to Dave Campo before the game about how well his defense have been playing, and he said, yeah, they've been playing well, but they can only worry about themselves. Can't worry about the offense. They've got to do their job. Well, today the defense has given this offense every opportunity in the world. They've got to take advantage sooner or later if they're going to have any chance to win this game. It's really on this offense.
Now,
5
JC,
turnovers.
Five takeaways now. I mean, Dave Campo can't expect anything more than that from this defensive group, minus their leading tackler, Ben Heaney, who's not been in there since he got hurt in the first half.
Coming into play today, it was a -2 turnover margin for the season for Kansas. They're a +3 today. Brandon Bourbon will run the ball, and somersaults and loses the ball. And it's Paul Dawson with it. Paul Dawson has recovered for TCU. What a game today for Paul Dawson.
Well, as soon as you try to jump over a defender, the ball comes away from your body. And that's what Bourbon does. He's going to try to jump over the defender right now. There's the right arm. Now, is any part...
The ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by TCU. The previous play is under further review.
I mean, there it is. The ball's completely away from his body right now. There it is. Now, is the elbow down first before the ball comes back?
Kevon Gamble is the player who upends.
That ball comes loose. I don't think that's going to get overturned, but that's Brandon Bourbon, who doesn't carry the ball very much, just careless with it, trying to make that leap. That's why they tell backs don't leap, because you can't balance yourself in the air without that ball coming away from your body.
Only his 8th rush this season.
They're just looking for putting the ball in any playmaker's hands they can, trying to get a play.
Did run the ball more the last 2 seasons, 40 carries over the last 2 years at Kansas.
There he is jumping. You see the ball's away. Yeah, that ball squirts loose as soon as it comes down. Now, the elbow would put the back or any offensive player down. But when the ball starts moving like that, this should be a fumble and a recovery, clean recovery by TCU.
And it would add to the day that Paul Dawson is having 11 tackles, 2.5 for loss.
The runner's arm hit before the ball came loose. It's third down at the 34-yard line.
Wow. All right. They're saying the ball didn't come loose when that elbow hit. All right. They're saying right now that they're saying before that ball moves that he's officially down. That is the college rule, different than the NFL. the NFL, they always say, you know, the ground can't cause the fumble, but in that situation it can. Collins was saying the elbow was down first before the ball came loose.
They are in field goal range. Matthew Wyman has hit from 52 yards this year. They're at the 34, 3rd and 7. Heaps is throwing for the end zone. He had a man but could not connect with Josh Ford right along the sideline.
Josh Ford had a step on him, but you got to keep the ball in bounds.
Guys, I'm telling you, Jake Heaps just not real accurate today. I mean, he throws this ball out of bounds. I'm standing right here watching the flight of the ball. It's coming right to me. Yeah, and he's got to throw that ball down the field, allow his receiver a chance to go make a play. He makes the receiver drift out of bounds. Just not real accurate throw.
Matthew Wyman won the game against Louisiana Tech with a 52-yard field goal, but this 51-yard attempt comes up short.
Hit right off the upright. Just
right at the crossbar, right at the intersection of the angle of the upright and the crossbar.
Couple inches further, and that's 3 points for Kansas. I mean, just inches away.
The 5th turnover of the day committed by TCU is not cashed in by Kansas.
No.
The Horned Frogs will start from their 34 with 2:40 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Play clock is already down to 4. Aaron Green a handoff. And Aaron Green straight ahead for a couple. Jordan Tavai at that tackle after the fumble recovery a few moments ago.
Can Kansas do it again? I mean, can they take the ball away again off a tip pass, poke it loose? I mean, that's kind of what is the only thing that's kept them in this game right now.
All of their points are off turnovers today. They've scored off 3 of the 5 turnovers. And they've had the other 2 have been fumble recoveries in TCU territory that they have not been able to do anything with 2 minutes left in the 3rd. Boykin with a quarterback keeper. He runs out of a tackle. He cuts wide at the 45 and steps out just in the Kansas half of the field at the 48. On the zone read, Boykin gaining 16.
That was a good decision by Boykin that time. Picked it up, and then, you know, he is a good runner. I mean, he makes people miss. He's got good eyes for it. It should be a big part of this offense when he's at quarterback.
It's a 65-yard running day now for Boykin, Baldy.
He's had over 100-yard rushing just a couple weeks ago against Texas Tech. He was the leading rusher on this team coming into today.
Trips left, 1 right, receiver-wise. Aaron Green surging forward on the inside handoff just inside the Kansas 45 with Ben Goodman wrapping him up.
They've done a good job on Wayman James today now. I mean, Wayman James, we've mentioned this earlier today, but the all-time leading yards per carry rusher in TCU history at 6.6 yards a carry, better than LaDainian Tomlinson in his career, but they've corralled him pretty well. He is a powerful guy with great leg strength.
Catalan today has got 77 on 10 carries. Aaron Green, who just carried, is 8 for 28. Wayman James only 2 for 9 today. On the option, Boykin turns it up the field and is wrestled down at the 40 by Tadarian Johnson. Junior defensive lineman from Jackson, Mississippi. Big play here.
Sure
Kansas get the stop on 3rd and 2. In the final minute of the 3rd quarter.
Well, they're running the ball real well in this drive right now. I would be surprised if they went to the air with it. There's no reason to.
The back is Aaron Green. And Aaron Green will run it, and Aaron Green is stood up again by Tadarian Johnson. Johnson tackled Boykin on 2nd down, and then he just manhandles Green on 3rd down.
Yeah, I mean, here he is right in the middle. I mean, does a good job playing off of Joey Hunt. Takes on the double team right here, and he comes out of it. Splits the double team, stays alive. That's a great defensive play by Johnson.
That's a big man at 6'2", 290. And Aaron Green felt his wrath. 3rd down, big tackle. It will be 4th and 2 when the 4th quarter starts. Paul Dawson and the TCU defense have had a good day. The Kansas scored off another turnover in the 3rd. It's 24-17 TCU as you're watching Fox College Football. Our Coors Light game summary with the fourth quarter about to start. TCU leads Kansas 24-17. The quarterbacks, Jake Heaps and Trevon Boykin, pretty similar passing numbers. 131 for Heaps, 136 for Boykin. Boykin has 2 picks today. Total yardage-wise, TCU's outgained Kansas 321-166, but as you just circled with the telestrator, 5-2 turnovers for TCU.
I mean, it's always the #1 stat in football. The Kansas City Chiefs this year, undefeated there. They lead the league in takeaways, turnover ratio. It's the NFL, it's college, it's high school. It's always that. That's the equalizer.
The fourth quarter starts with a punt from Ethan Perry. Looking for field position here. And they're down. Cam White catches and kills it at the 5. That's a 35-yard punt, but that's all about pinning Kansas deep, which they do. The Associated Press top 10. Alabama's at Kentucky later today. Big game that will be on Fox Sports 1 is Oregon at Washington.
Yep.
You got Clemson and Boston College. Stanford playing in the Pac-10 at Utah. Georgia losing to undefeated Missouri.
Missouri 38-20.
Tough game for A&M at Ole Miss.
A&M, they struggled last week, struggled last year against Mississippi.
Not in the AP top 10, but the Red River rivalry has opened up to a 36-13 Texas lead. Handoff, James Sims. This is a drive for Kansas starting at the 5. He heads to the edge, and Sims is cut down to the 10. Kevin White brings down James Sims. The most rushes in a game for Sims this year was 20 against Louisiana Tech, and this is his 20th of the game today on the second play of the fourth.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Lewandowski at left tackle, along with Damon Martin at left guard.
Here's Sims with another run.
Here, that hit up here.
Yeah, he does not get the blocking on the edge that he got the last time. A 2-yard pickup. Paul Dawson is the one who delivered at the hit that we can hear from here.
Yeah. They played well. I mean, he's been all over the field. I mean, he got a chance to start today. He's taken advantage of it in so many different ways. Sacks, fumbles, tackles for losses. I mean, it's one of the best games middle linebackers played in a while.
Here's a run on third down. Sims slipped, but I think Sims was able to inch forward for the first down. It's Darian Miller. Darian Miller, not Sims. Miller, who had carried it 31 times this season coming into today, able to run for 3 yards and a foot when they needed 3.
Well, they needed that extra foot that you just mentioned.
Miller again. Miller hit in the backfield, back to the line of scrimmage. Marcus Mallett from Cleveland, Texas, a junior, delivers the hit.
You know, there was a time when this was truly linebacker U here. You know, there was Tank Carter and Robert Henson played for the Redskins, and David Hawthorne starting for the Saints right now. Darrell Washington, what a game he had for the Arizona Cardinals last week.
Heaps to throw for the first time on the drive, and a poor pass out of bounds on second down and 10.
He got a little bump that time by Olabode, but really they had him bracketed all the way down the field. We saw Mundine come off the field. You know, the pass receiving tight end, we haven't really seen him come back on the field. We saw injuries at the wide receiver position. Pearson not playing today. We saw Terzilli go down after 1 catch. Mundine go down.
Coming into the game today, Kansas had 18 plays this year from scrimmage that were 20 yards or more. Pearson accounted for 8. So they certainly missed big play ability there. Heath spun away from the rush of Terrell Lathan and threw a ball that was nearly picked by Chris Hackett. He did get a fingertip on it, but unable to intercept.
That was not a good throw by Jake, but he didn't get any help from his left tackle. Lewandowski, who got beaten, kind of flushed him out of the pocket. Now he's moving. Well, he just flat out missed. He just flat out missed Darian Miller. I mean, Miller's wide open. You make that throw, maybe Miller has a chance to catch it, run for the first down, but it was just so far off the target.
9 of 19 now, the passing day for Jake Heaps. Pardula. The punt takes a poor Kansas bounce and is out right at the 49 of TCU. 36 yards, they'll call it on the punt. This gave TCU the lead on the first play of the third quarter. It was David Porter, their longest play from scrimmage this year. 75 yards from Trevon Boykin.
Is turning out to maybe surprise some
Surprise. How about shock some people?
Let's see what Boykin can do here on first down and 10. He was looking to throw and finally is wrapped up by Ja'Cory Shepherd right back near the line of scrimmage. And yes, surprise, shock, pick your verbiage.
You know, look, I don't think anybody thought that Oklahoma's offense was a world beater, but to have 13 points up there against a defense that, you know, gave up, I don't know, they fired their defensive coordinator after they gave up, I don't know, 500 yards to BYU. Yeah.
Manny Diaz out, Greg Robinson in.
Good first play here by Kansas defense.
Now TCU at their own 48, 2nd and 11. After they lost in non-conference play to Ole Miss to go to 1-2, Mac Brown said the goal was to win the Big 12, and they're poised to start 3-0 if they finish off the fourth quarter against Oklahoma. Run by Catalan, and that takes them into Kansas territory, but only a short gain of 3.
Good play by Skylar Miles, who's getting a chance to play a lot here with Ben Heaney out. Good tackle.
The Mattress Firm All Access Update. B.J. Catalan, 11 rushes, 80 yards, 1 touchdown today for Catalan. Season high on the ground for Catalan. He's also lost a fumble today. They'll send him in motion here on a 3rd and 8 snap, and Boykin will throw the long ball down the sideline, and it bounces away from Echols Looper, trying to make a circus catch. Oh my goodness, he almost did. Dexter Linton was back in coverage.
Well, you just saw an example of Boykin's arm. That was 50 yards in the air, and it was a perfect deep shot. Now, Echols Looper, whose father is the wide receiver coach, he's going to be hurt as he uses the slot right here. They got what they wanted. They got one-on-one coverage. Boy, I thought the ball was perfectly thrown. Comes right down on his tailbone there.
Juggles it twice. Lent popped it up into the air, and then Echols Looper. That's just
great effort. Could have called some kind of interference there by Linton. Ball's a hot potato.
Just couldn't control it coming down, and was coming down out of bounds. That would have been the catch of the year in college football. The talk was that Alabama had it against Georgia State last week.
Wow, that was pretty good.
TCU had a short field to work with. If they go 3 and out, a punt by Ethan Perry is caught. Connor Embry, the fair catch at the 13. 3 and out for TCU. Kansas will have a shot. 11.5 minutes remaining. Boykin almost got the home run throw. His team's still up by 7. Fox College Football is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. And by Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck for 36 straight years. Remember, TCU started the season ranked 20th in the AP poll. Casey Pawhall returned to the team this year, broke his arm in the 2nd game of the season. Devontae Fields, the defensive newcomer in the Big 12 last year, was suspended at the beginning of the season and only appeared in 3 games. We learned this week he's going to need surgery on an injured foot, and he'll end up with a medical red shirt this year. Jake keeps handing off Sims with his 22nd run of the game as Kansas starts at their own 14. They spent 3 weeks in the poll, TCU did. They lost close game to LSU, close game at Texas Tech. Sandwiched in between was a win against Southeastern Louisiana. They had a win over SMU and then lost again last week at Oklahoma. No Paul Hall, maybe back in 2, 3, 4 weeks, we'll see. Fields done for the year, Baldy.
Well, Paul Hall he's been throwing, but, you know, the break in 3 spots was on his left forearm. And so you just, you know, like Rob Gronkowski in New England, you just can't put him out there until that's fully healed.
Heaps under pressure, throws the screen, caught behind the line, and Sims back to the line.
That's where you'd love to have Tony Pearson in that screen game like that. A guy that, you know, makes people miss in the open field a little bit better. Sims is better between the tackles. But really, you know, TCU has seen the screen here today. Another tackle by Dawson, and there's Tony Pearson. Nothing worse than just having that sideline view and all you can do is watch. But with player safety paramount at every level of football, when you get a concussion, you just have to go through the necessary channels make sure you pass all the baseline tests to get back on the field.
3rd and 10 for Heaps and Kansas. Heaps with a step up. He'll throw it on the move and incomplete at the 30. Was looking for Christian Matthews. Elisha Olabode draped on him in coverage.
Yeah, Olabode with a pass defense. Really good play. Heaps did a good job of climbing the pocket just to get better vision that time. You're just not seeing the separation that he needs from receivers to get him open right now. I don't know how many more times you can put this Jayhawk defense on the field and ask them to come up with another stop. Still plenty of time left here, but they need a stop.
For the 9th time today, Trevor Pardula is punting. Averaging 45 yards a kick today.
Earning a scholarship.
Pardula. Oh, this is going to take a great roll. Eccles Looper will field it at the 30, giving up more ground. Now he has a convoy of blockers up the sideline to the 50, and down he goes at the 41.
That bounce from Pardula really aided, I thought, in Eccles Looper that return. There was nobody from Kansas around him when he picked that ball up.
The punt was 55 yards, but Eccles Looper got back 28 on the return. TCU good field position and a 7-point lead. College football on Fox 24-17. TCU leads Kansas. More college football on Big Fox today at 2:30. Baylor at Kansas State. Look what they did to West Virginia last week. 864 yards, 73 points scored as Art Briles' squad continues to put up unthinkable offensive numbers.
Yeah, and you think about the West Virginia game last year when they lost 70-63, what that was like. Those numbers look like a combined total of 2 teams. But Art Briles has a system right now, and he's got tremendous skill at receiver. Lake Seastrunk at the running back and all-pro at left guard. I mean, they just got talent everywhere down in Waco.
Best starting field position today for TCU at the 42 of Kansas. Boykin on the zone read keep for 2 yards.
Lake Seastrunk, who announced himself a Heisman candidate in this offseason and has done nothing to shy away from it. Those are the first half yards he had a week ago against West Virginia. Going back 8 consecutive games over 100 yards, going back to last year. Really, Baylor's fortunes turned around last year when they beat Kansas State. They put Seastrunk in at tailback, and they haven't lost since.
And off they went. 2nd down and 8 with 9:12 remaining. TCU in front 24-17. Looking for the bubble screen.
Hey, Baldy, going back to Baylor, and you were talking about all that firepower and speed they got on offense, but I think defense is really where they made huge strides this year. You talk about the offense and all the yards, well, they're getting more opportunities because that defense is getting stops and they're taking the ball away some, and that's always been the problem at Baylor. Is they've always had offense, but the defense have been suspect. This year, the defense is playing well also.
I agree with you, JC. They've got depth now. They've got playmakers over there, Dixon and Hager. Good 2 deep on the defensive line. And Phil Bennett calling the defense.
Let's see what the Kansas defense does here on 3rd and 8. They get a stop on a pass that was intended for Eccles Looper. The pass breakup by Dexter Linton with 9:02 remaining.
And they went zero coverage, meaning they went all-out blitz up front. They brought everybody up front. I mean, here they all come. They bring 7. Gets the ball out of Boykin's hands. Now, can Linton hold up on the back end? And he does. That's a gutsy, risky call by Dave Campo, but it worked for him.
7th time today that Ethan Perry punts. He's averaging 40 yards today. And Kansas will be the beneficiary of a little bit of a bounce. 8:54 remaining. Kansas needs 7, but they're going to start 90 yards away with just under 9 minutes to go. .854 left. Kansas has the ball at their own 10, down by 7, JC.
Yeah, a big blow for this TCU defense. Jason Barrett is on the sideline with a shoulder injury. I noticed that he wasn't on the field the last series. He's not out now. It looks like he's not going to come back into the game, so could be a big break for this Kansas offense. They got to try to throw the ball to make some plays down the field.
Kevon Gamble, number 16, is the guy who moves out onto the field. Kevin White, the other corner. Heaps under pressure, got away, throws to the goal line. Larker down, Jermaine Mundine didn't make the catch. James McFarland was providing pressure by the TCU defense.
By number 64 of the offense. Penalties half the distance to the goal, and it's still first down.
Randall Denton at guard right now. I said from the very beginning that another shake-up on the offensive line today. How soon could they start to gel and play well together? How well could they play individually against a dominant defensive front of TCU?
Trips to the right on 1st and 15. Heaps in his own end zone, and he threw it at the feet of a receiver. Now, if they call grounding. No.
There's no grounding. The receiver was number 6.
There you go. Cooper Castleberry fighting through the microphone breakup and all, telling us that Darian Miller was the receiver.
Well, they're trying to run another screen here to Miller. And really, I mean, they're sitting on it. I mean, first of all, he gets knocked down by Randall Dent, but the linebacker was waiting on him.
Now a handoff to Sims, gaining 3. The most plays Kansas has had on a drive today is 6. Their longest drive from a yardage perspective is 55. This one started 90 yards away from what they need, a tying touchdown.
And it's tough. I mean, they're 3rd and 11. I mean, they've been in 3rd and long seemingly every single drive today. And so they just don't have a lot of playmakers, and they don't have an offensive line that can hold up in this situation.
They have 3rd and 12 here. A throw over the middle. Brandon Bourbon catches at the 15. Hit at the 19. Hit just short. Sam Carter, Paul Dawson.
What a game for Paul Dawson.
What is it, 14 tackles?
Yeah. I mean, really, sideline to sideline, big plays. I mean, he just threw that ball underneath just to get the ball out of his hands and was hoping that Bourbon could come down with the first down. This guy, as we mentioned the last time, I think this is his 10th punt.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's earning his scholarship today.
Paul Dawson, 15 tackles officially. Kansas saw Ben Heaney have an 18-tackle game earlier this year. And Dawson is at 15.
TCU just stopped rushing. They got tired of rushing Pardula.
Fair catch by Cameron Eccles Looper at the TCU 35 with 7:27 to go. And Pardula, with his team backed up, does deliver another big punt, 55 yards.
See, with Dawson coming off the field, what TCU did and what was smart is they kept their starting defense on the field for that punt. Just in case, you know, Charlie wanted to try a fake or Pardula wanted to take a fake like he did last week against Texas Tech.
And he caught the snap on that fake punt last week at his own goal line, and he had a read where he was able to audible into a fake punt, and obviously not really the right time to do that.
No, and it really took a 10-10 game, and it blew it open, and Kansas was never able to get back into it.
From the 36, TCU, Boykin will throw it and completes it to David Porter, who's the leading receiver today for TCU. He comes down for a 9-yard play.
Well, he wanted to go to Porter the first time, and he pulled the ball down because there was interference, and then he stayed on him. Porter's just going to run on a crossing route right here. He sees the safety on him, kind of double clutches, and catches it right in front of Sendich.
Gain of 9, 2nd and 1. Kansas has all 3 timeouts as we approach the final minutes of the game. A run for Aaron Green into Kansas territory. The chains will move. Ja'Cory Shepard, who had a pick 6 earlier today with that tackle.
You got Big V over there at left tackle right now. Gone from the right side to the left side. Ran right behind him that time.
Vaitai on the left. He's the starter typically at right tackle. Eric Tausch is out at right tackle.
They're juggling the whole group up there right now.
You got Joey Hunt still at center. John Woolridge has moved up to right guard. Jamel Naff at left guard. Short run. Ty McKinney with a tackle of Aaron Green. Green's gotten a lot of carries today. 10. Had only 12 in the first 5 games.
No, we haven't seen Wayman James here. I mean, he's been out, so really the other guys, Green and Catalan, have kind of picked it up here. And of course, Eric Tausch out at right tackle, his father. Terry Tausch played at the University of Texas, played for the Vikings for a long time. He made of Plano, Texas.
Boykin, a quick throw caught by Eccles Looper. Stutter steps, and then up into the 41 by Sendish.
I know Sanders missed a tackle in the opening play of the third quarter that led to a big touchdown run, but he has been active. He was a junior college transfer. He was here for the entire spring, so he really learned both the strong safety position and the free safety position very interchangeable and valuable then, especially on this third down because he can play close to the line of scrimmage.
5 tackles today for Sendish, and this is a big third down at the Kansas 41. They need 5. Motion for Aaron Green. Boykin with a good pocket. He throws, and it's caught. Cam White at the 32 of Kansas.
Right in front of Ja'Cory Shepherd. That's a big throw for Boykin and trusting Cam White to make the play. Way to follow through for Boykin. Good location. Cam White came in today. Him along with Brandon Carter leading in receptions.
Each had 13. White has 2 today. David Porter is the leader with 4 for 118 for TCU. The clock becoming their teammate now as TCU throws on first down. Brandon Carter's first catch. Carter on the run. Stumbles down inside the 20 at the 15. Officially the 17 appears to be where they will mark it after the tackle by Sendish.
Really good fake that I did that time. I mean, here's Carter right here in just a little bubble, but really good job on the outside right here. The block right now. That's what you got to be in this spread, spread offense. Is you got to be a good blocker. So David Porter, who's been their leading receiver, throws a good block for Carter.
Guys, also that was a great placement on the throw by Boykin. He throws it up the field so that Carter is catching it moving forward and not having to stop and regather himself.
Now a running play for Aaron Green. They snap it at the 17. Jake Love got him low on the tackle at the 15.
Some of the goals of Gary Patterson's offense today coming into today's game.
They wanted to snap it 75 to 80 times on offense, but only at 59. Now, Jared Anderson told us yesterday that if they have 75-plus plays on offense, it probably means they're converting around 45% on third down.
Well, they're not meeting their goals today, but they did say that they want to finish games better. And right now, this is the type of drive that they're finishing on. Very well executed right now, spreading the ball around. And really, it's been the play of Boykin on this drive.
Well, they've taken 4 minutes off the clock as Green stutter steps and gave up some ground. That snap was at the 14 and a loss of a yard. 3rd and 8 with Isaiah Johnson, the leader today on the defense for Kansas in terms of tackles with his 9th.
And you can tell, I mean, they're tired. They're tired, but they're playing hard, especially in the secondary, because Shepherd and Johnson and Sendish, they've played nearly every single snap in his game right now. That was the 60th snap in, 85-degree heat. So they're giving it everything they've got right now, and they'd love to deliver one more knockout punch here on this play. You see a blitz forming right now.
On 3rd and 8 at the Kansas 15. And the blitz gums up the works. Nowhere to go for Aaron Green on the handoff. Kevin Young was the one who swallowed him up.
Well, that was a run blitz sent in by Dave Campo, and it was the right call. And they trapped him for their 3rd straight loss in a row. He's just hugging the line of scrimmage right now. I mean, here's the nose, Young, and here comes the linebackers on the run blitz. Young works in a backside A gap. He gets the penetration, takes Green down. It's a good play. You can blitz to get after the quarterback. You can run blitz to stop the run as well, and that's what that was.
Kansas has 2 timeouts remaining, burning one here with 2:40 left. And we await the field goal of Jaden Overcrone, which has a chance to make it a 2-score lead for TCU.
I mean, this puts the game away. I think it's been a great effort by this defense. Tremendous effort by Kansas defense. Along the defensive line, Agostino right there. They have a block in them. The big boys up front. Agostino about 6'3". See if he can get the big ball up right now.
Overcrone hit today from 44. Matt Brown, the holder. And the kick by Overcrone is through, and TCU takes a 10-point lead with 2:34 to go. Officially 37 yards on the boot by Jaden Overcrone. TCU 27, Kansas 17 as we get a Fox College football game break from Laura McKeeman. Laura?
All right, more from the SEC, guys. This Missouri-Georgia game. And watch for the trickery here. James Franklin out of the game with a shoulder injury, so that's wide receiver Bud Sasser with a 40-yard pass to LaDamian Washington for the touchdown. It's 34-26. Tigers in the fourth. Still some time, but this one's getting crazy.
Be a big win for Gary Pinker and that crew in Columbia, Missouri. Second year in the SEC, and they come out of today undefeated. They'll be ready to make some noise.
What a weapon it is to have a guy like Overcrome in the kicking game as TCU sees their kicker go 9 for 11 on the season in field goals and very calmly booted through a pivotal 37-yard field goal to put him up by 10 with 2:34 left.
And he's been excellent on kickoffs, too. A lot of touchbacks today. See if he can knock this one through the end zone and try to eliminate any return.
Now Kansas down 10, 2:34 remaining. At the goal line, Ja'Cory Shepard bounced off a tackle. Couldn't bounce off another one, though. Brought down to the 15 with 2:27 left as we look at today's Delta Faucet Touch 2-0 play of the game.
That was the first play of the third quarter. Porter on just an outside, breaks 2 tackles on the outside by McFarland and Sendish, and he goes the distance on the play. 75 yards, and that broke open a 10-10 tie at halftime. Easiest score that TCU's had all year. Porter, their leading receiver today. And the biggest play of the game.
Junior from DeSoto, Texas, just south of Dallas.
Just down the road here.
Now Kansas with 2 timeouts, needing a touchdown and a field goal to tie. And Paul Dawson, almost an interception to add to his 15 tackles today.
Well, Paul Dawson got the chance to start today in front of Jonathan Anderson. He's taking advantage of it. A good break on the ball, not a well-thrown ball. Good break by Dawson.
Thought he should have had it, obviously.
I'd like for Christian Matthews to give him a little better angle to throw that ball.
Step up by Heaps. Delivers on the right side to Sims, and down inbound shy of the 20. Touch-wise for James Sims, 23 rushes, 5 receptions, so 28 touches today for Sims. And there was Paul Dawson in on his 16th tackle.
All over the place. Funny how guys just emerge as the course of the game goes on. And Dawson, from the beginning to the end, has been dominant.
Another 3rd and long. Heaps throws. It's caught, but short of the marker. Kevin White brought down Trey Parmalee, the sophomore from Overland Park.
Got to give credit to this defensive line of TCU. I think they've got 4 sacks today, but they've been good against the run. They've rotated 8 guys up front, minus a couple of stars. There's Dawson with penetration. He just blew that play up.
4th and 1, and the last gasp for Kansas ends on Paul Dawson with yet another tackle that will put him at 3.5 tackles for loss today and 17 stops in the game.
He just, I mean, whether it's a run blitz call or not from the sidelines, I mean, he just gets this penetration right here, right now. He sees it, he feels it, right through the, the left tackle has got to come down to stop his penetration. When he sees it like that, that's just good. I mean, you can, sometimes linebacking play, Mark, is just instincts, where a ball's going to go. Now, if I can get there before the play begins to develop, and you saw tremendous instincts from Dawson today.
And interesting to see those instincts from a player who was, at one point in his football career, wide receiver.
I know. How about that? Probably wasn't a diva wide receiver. I know that.
A run here for B.J. Catalon and a tough run. Another first down to the Kansas 11. Courtney Arning. 117. There is an injury here for Kansas. Well, we said his name many, many times today. The Whataburger What a Player of the game. Paul Dawson, number 47 for the TCU defense.
Well, on a game where offense was ugly and there was a lot of turnovers and balls weren't thrown or caught very well, this guy, I mean, from the very beginning today, he's been all over the field. blitzing, instincts, tackling in the open field, defending passes. I mean, really, you want, you know, I always said this, in a 4-3 defense, you get a middle linebacker that plays fast, that makes your whole defense looks fast. I can't imagine putting him up bigger numbers in a game than what Paul Dawson has done today. I don't know if he's come out. I think he's played every snap today.
And again, a converted wide receiver in his days at Skyline High School in Dallas, but there is certainly history here at TCU of Gary Patterson.
Tremendous linebackers.
Yeah, and recruiting players, Baldy, who necessarily weren't defensive players at high school, but he's turned good athletes into very, very good defensive players here at TCU. He
has, Mark, and it's athletes with speed, though. I mean, that's what Dawson has. You can't obviously coach that, but then if you combine a great athlete with instincts, and then you train them, and then you get them to get in the film room and study things here. We're looking at him.
Tadarian Johnson. Tadarian Johnson had a couple of big plays on defense earlier in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, take nothing away from this defense of Kansas. I mean, they've gutted it out there. You can't ask for anything more than 5 takeaways in the game to keep your team in the game.
And the big man, Tadarian Johnson, being helped off the field here with 1:17 remaining.
Well, he's one of those junior college players that, you know, Charlie Weiss went after, recruited. How many of them?
They ended up signing 20. 18 were announced on signing day and added a couple more. They had 20 junior college transfers in their 2013 recruiting class, and 11 of those players, they've lost a couple, and 11 of those players came into today's game on the 2D.
Yeah, and so Johnson and 2 safeties, I mean, we mentioned a bunch of them. They've come in and had a chance to play right away and contribute right away.
What this will be today for TCU is their first Big 12 home win. They went 0-4 last year in their Big 12 home schedule. They still get a chance later this year to play Texas here and West Virginia here. Final minute of the game. JC, we don't see a team turn the ball over 5 times often and survive to win, but TCU's about to do that.
Yeah, they sure are. Not real pretty, but a win is a win. And the first conference win, I'm sure they'll take it any way they can get it, but still a lot to work on next week going to Oklahoma State.
TCU will go to 3-3. Remember, 6 wins makes you bowl eligible, and TCU has been to a bowl game in 14 of the last 15 seasons. They have some work to do in that regard, but they get their first Big 12 win today. And Charlie Weiss will see his team fall to 2-3, 0-2 now in Big 12 play as Gary Patterson and Charlie Weiss meet here in the final seconds. Take off on a 27-17 win for the TCU Horned Frogs.
Gary Patterson's going to take the win. I mean, they've still got a lot of work to do offensively, but you know what? You got a young quarterback who's got some receivers right now that got to grow up and play better. You know, you can take development as long as you're winning games, and so that's what they got to do. I mean, Trevon Boykin had a good football game today.
27-17, the final. TCU wins. Let's get some thoughts quickly from J.C. Pearson with Gary Patterson.
Coach Patterson, big win, first conference win. Probably not the way you drew it up, but a win is a win.
Well, I was worried all motion. You had the SMU, then you had Oklahoma. We didn't practice a lot of emotion. You can't turn the ball over and score points on our defense, but you found a way to get through one. We got ourselves back to 3-3, and now you got Oklahoma State. So we're going to take it either way we do it. We got to keep getting better, but I'm happy.
Absolutely. Defensively, Paul Dawson, fantastic game for you today.
Well, we've been waiting on Paul. He's a guy that can really play. But Simon-wise, we haven't been doing what we needed to do. But if he comes in and keeps doing, he's a guy that can play at that level, and he'll make us better.
Coach, congratulations on your first win. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
The final today, 27-17, TCU over Kansas. And next up for TCU at Oklahoma State next week. Kansas, meanwhile, will play a home game next week against the Oklahoma Sooners.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get easy for Kansas, but I think for TCU, you see potential. Because Boykin can throw the ball, and you do see potential right there. It's a good offensive line. They need to be consistent. They need to eliminate the bad plays right now, because defensively, they've got some guys that can lock up on receivers right now. They can tackle well. They've got depth. Special teams are a bonus. I think this team still has a lot of life left in it, and there's still a lot of room for improvement.
They pick up the 10-point win today. Again, the final score from Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas. TCU 27, Kansas 17. Don't forget to join us next Saturday at 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific for a Conference USA matchup as Southern Miss travels to East Carolina. For Brian Baldinger and J.C. Pearson and our fantastic crew in Fort Worth, Texas, I'm Mark Ballowell. You've been watching Fox College Football on Fox Sports Network.